Chapter 1786. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reads book net no pop-up window free to read. Sima Yue was setting up a formation in the yard. And when she turned her head, she saw 3 black faces. She raised her eyebrows. How did these 3 people come so quickly? She hadn't even finished setting it up yet. Miss, what do you mean by this? We are going to participate in the region competition as contestants. It's impossible for us to be your concubine. That's right. Although you are a miss, we are not people of the mansion, nor are we people you casually snatch from the outside. You are insulting us by doing this. We must go to the Duke and ask him clearly, what the hell does this mean? Before she could speak, those people angrily scolded her first. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Did you guys get it wrong? What's wrong? Didn't you ask people to bring us here? Isn't this the place where you keep your concubine? I really didn't ask you to come now, Sima Yue said innocently. She just asked the housekeeper to inform them to come over later, who knew that they would come so early. You're still quibbling. Forget it, Ziping, don't waste time with her. Let's go to the Duke and ask for an explanation. You're right, let's go to the Duke. The 3 people finished speaking and were about to leave, but just as they turned around, they saw Moronghui coming in. Duke. Facing Moronghui, although there was no aggressive momentum, although they were still very angry, they still respectfully saluted. Moronghui saw that the 3 people were very angry and asked, "What's the matter?" He looked at Sima Yue, who shrugged her shoulders, curled her lips and didn't speak. Duke, this hibiscus court is the place where Miss Guan keeps her concubine. What does she mean by bringing us here? Don't tell me she wants us to be her concubine. The man named Gu Ziping was the most impulsive and questioned directly. What concubine? She, or didn't ask you to be her concubine? No? Then why did she call us to hibiscus court? The 3 people were stunned. If Sima Yue said no, they would not believe her. But now that the county king had said so, they were a little doubtful. This matter is of great importance. The 3 of you have to swear not to tell anyone. Moronghui stared at the 3 people. All 3 of them were cultivated by Moronghui. To put it bluntly, their lives were his. Not to mention keeping today's matter a secret. Even if they were asked to be mutes for the rest of their lives, they would not say no. Don't worry, Duke. If we tell anyone about what happened today, we will be struck by lightning. The 3 of them swore together. Unlike the human realm, the people of the ghost race were even more afraid of such oaths, because the heavenly Tao would cleave them clean when they broke the agreement. After Moronghui and the other 3 made an oath, Moronghui said, "We will arrange a spirit gathering array here, which can attract spiritual power from other places and speed up your cultivation." Spirit gathering array? The 3 of them looked at Moronghui in shock. Duke, is it the legendary spirit gathering array? Yes. This spirit gathering array has been lost for a long time. If it is announced, you all know how big a wave it will cause. Moronghui knocked on their heads. The county competition is about to begin. A stable environment is conducive to your cultivation. With this spirit gathering array, your cultivation will definitely be twice the result with half the effort. Don't waste such a good opportunity. The 3 of them were excited. They didn't expect that they would be able to use this spirit gathering array one day. We will cultivate well and live up to the Duke's cultivation, the 3 of them said in unison. Moronghui was very satisfied with the attitude of the 3 people. Duke, I have one thing I don't understand. Why do you want to arrange a spirit gathering array here? Gu Ziping asked. Naturally, it is to avoid people's eyes and ears. A-class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L/email protection. The people locked up here have been secretly released. However, no one else knows about it, and no one will know that you are the ones living here. So that's how it is. It seems that I really misunderstood. The 3 of them scratched their ears, then saluted to Sima Yue and said, "Miss, I'm sorry. We misunderstood you before and were rude to you. Please punish us. Remember to give others a chance to explain next time." Sima Yue didn't generously say that it didn't matter, but the 3 of them knew that they were wrong and could change their attitude. "Shir, have you arranged it?" Moronghui asked. 2 arrays have been completed. The last one is a little bit away. Sima Yue said. I was about to do the last bit when they came in. Only then did Gu Zipping and the others notice that she was still holding 2 array stones in her hand. Because they were too angry just now, they didn't notice it. Duke, this array was arranged by Miss? Yes, otherwise why do you think she is here? A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L email protection. Datic female equals 01DC8E41 cab 4. Email protected. Miss is an array master? They hadn't heard of it before. Some things it's better not to hear rumors. Sima Yue lectured. Although she and Morongxi hadn't spoken, she was still Morong Hui's beloved daughter and her own godsister. Father, I'll go and get the rest done. Go. Morong Hui said with a smile. He found that as long as he was recognized by her, she would fall in love with him. Gu Zipping and the others were a little unconvinced after being taught a lesson. Although they hadn't had much contact with Morongxi, they had heard a lot. She was an array master. She even knew the long-lost array? This was too impossible. But when they saw Sima Yue really holding the array and arranging it, the 3 of them felt that her lesson was right. It was better not to hear rumors. Sima Yue arranged the array and consumed a lot of energy. Her small face was a little pale and her complexion was not good. Morong Hui felt distressed seeing this. Father, inject your spiritual power here. Sima Yue pointed to a place and said. Her strength was very weak and that pitiful amount of spiritual power was not enough to activate such a large array. Morong Hui came to the place where Sima Yue was and injected his spiritual power. The array was activated and covered the front room. Then Sima Yue asked him to activate the other 2 arrays. There are 3 rooms in this house, 1 for each of you. Sima Yue said, when my strength increases, I'll upgrade your arrays. Thank you, Mississippi. Sima Yue didn't embarrass them. Instead, it made their previous behavior seem too rude. Morong Hui saw that her eyes were absent-minded and said, take the pill first and then go back and have a good rest. You've been tired for more than 10 days for this array. Sima Yue took the pill and said discouragingly, my strength is too low now. If my strength increases, it will only take 1 or 2 hours to arrange this array. I miss the days when I had strength. Chapter 1787. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. Sima Yue returned to her courtyard. It was too difficult for her to set up such a big array. Fortunately, this only consumed her spiritual power, and she could recover after a rest. I don't know if the previous cultivation methods are useful. She muttered to herself. Fortunately, my spiritual power is stronger than the average person, otherwise, I really can't hold on. I remember that every time I used to recover, my spiritual power would increase a lot. Maybe it can be used now. I say, when are you going to find a mineral vein for me to recover my strength? Mi-Er came out and stood in front of her bed. He crossed his arms in front of her chest and looked at her discontentedly. My strength is still so weak, I just entered the condensation stage. I can't do anything. Sima Yue said. And this mineral vein is not cabbage on the street. You can get it whenever you want. The mineral veins that have been developed have already been released. It's useless for us to go. Of course I know this, I'm not stupid. Mi-Er glared at her. You're not stupid. Sima Yue said. You didn't think about this before. Why did you suddenly mention it now? Humph. Mi-Er snorted, turned around and ignored her. This woman, now she didn't even think about helping him to recover his strength. Sima Yue saw him like this, suddenly sat up and looked at him with shining eyes. Do you know where there are undeveloped mineral veins? Humph, you're a little smart. Mi-Er was happy and turned to look at her. Then do you know where it is? If there's news, let's go now. Sima Yue was excited. If Mi-Er could recover his strength, then she had nothing to be afraid of in the ghost realm. I don't know. Seeing her disappointed eyes, he added. But I sensed it. You didn't sense it when you were in Atavistic Orchid Mountain, but now you sensed it. Does it mean it's nearby? It's not very far. Mi-Er said, but I feel that a lot of people are going there. I think your father is going there too. Could it be that this is what Dad has been busy with recently? Sima Yue supported her chin with one hand. If it's a mineral vein, it's definitely worth it for him to rush back. You have to help your father find that vein first. Only then will you have a reason to go in openly. Mi-er said. Actually, if you ask me, you should just go up and devour that force. How good would that be? You'll be discovered by others. Sima Yue sighed. When I recover my strength, I'll go and rescue your mother. What do you think? That way, you won't have to keep thinking about it. We still don't know where Mother is being suppressed, so we have to find the Ghost King. But now is not the time. Sima Yue laid back down. Also, Lin said that only if I go, I can save Mother. Sigh so troublesome. Mi-er looked at her speechlessly. No matter what, restore my strength first. Okay. Sima Yue closed her eyes. I'll talk to Dad about this when I wake up. Before she could finish her sentence, she had already fallen asleep. Mi-er rolled his eyes. When he was about to go back, Little Black pushed the door open. His small body squeezed in through the gap of the door, with a skeleton flute in his mouth. Little Black, you're playing around with this thing again. If you lose it, you will let Little Purple hack you. Mi-er threatened. Little Black placed the skeleton flute on the ground and called out to Mi-er. Then he picked up the flute and went to play with it. When he was tired of playing, he put the flute on his stomach and it disappeared. He patted his stomach with satisfaction. It was filled with his toys. If not for him, Yu's things would be sealed. That was why she wouldn't blame him. Mi-er face-bombed. Why do I have the same contractor as you? It's such a sad thing. Little Black jumped onto Sima Yue's bed and faced him with his butt. Then he found a place to lie down and sleep. Mi-er sighed and returned to Sima Yue's body. Sima Yue slept for 2 days. Ting Shan and Ting Shui received her orders and didn't dare to disturb her. 2 days later, she finally woke up. However, it wasn't because she had enough sleep, but because she was hungry. She touched her rumbling stomach and said regretfully, "If I had known, I would have eaten something before sleeping." Without the spirit pagoda, the food she ate now wasn't that delicious. Especially those chefs' culinary skills. Although they were much better than those outside, it couldn't cover up the fact that the food they made was unpalatable. However, she had to eat even if it was unpalatable. She got up and Ting Shan and Ting Shui, who heard the commotion, quickly came in. Ting Shan, help me wash up. Ting Shui, go to the kitchen and see if there's anything to eat. Get some for me. Miss, I'm starving to death. Sima Yue ordered. Okay, this servant will go now. Ting Shui bowed and turned to leave. Ting Shan helped her wash up, and Ting Shui brought the food back. Where's my father? Master went out this morning. Before leaving, he came over and asked this servant to tell Miss that he may not be back for a few days. Ting Shan replied. Did he say what it was about? No. Sima Yue nodded, indicating that she understood, and then sat down to eat. She didn't know if Murong Hui's departure was related to the mineral vein. As the Duke, he must have a lot of things to deal with. Since he would only be away for a few days, she would wait in the house. Ting Shui heard movement outside, went out for a while, and then came in and said, Miss Xiao is here. Ruabai is here? Let her take her to the living room. Sima Yue sped up her eating speed and quickly cleaned up the things in front of her. It wasn't that the food was delicious, but that she was too hungry. After she finished eating, she went to find Xiao Ruabai. Xiao Ruabai was looking at her living room. When she saw her come in, she said, Speaking of which, this is the first time I've entered the Duke's mansion. You're welcome to come often in the future. Sima Yue walked over, sat beside her, and asked, Are you almost done with your family? Yes. I've been away for a long time. By the time I'm done with those things, it's been so long. Xiao Ruabai sighed. I heard that you and Dong Qishuang quarreled? It's been a few days. Sima Yue did not deny it. When I heard about it, I thought you were quite good. You scolded people without swearing, and she couldn't refute. When a man achieves the Tao, his chickens and dogs ascend to heaven. Your words are really appropriate to describe the Dong family. You came here today to praise me for scolding people well. Of course not. I'm here to take you shopping. Xiao Ruabai said. Sima Yue looked at her, smiled and said, "It shouldn't be as simple as shopping this time, right? What other purpose is there?" Chapter 1788. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Seeing her firm eyes, Xiao Ruabai suddenly smiled, shook her head, and said, "I really can't hide anything from you." Sima Yue raised her eyebrows, so there was really something. "Do you know that there have been a lot of outsiders in Vast City recently?" Xiao Ruabai asked. "I don't know. Vast City is the prefecture of Vast Region. It's normal for there to be outsiders, right?" Sima Yue disagreed. "If that's the case, my grandfather and the others won't be so nervous." Xiao Ruabai sighed. "Actually, they asked me to come over today to see if you have any news here. But I think you just came back, so you don't know anything. So I proposed to walk on the street. Maybe you can find out some news." "If you can get the news by walking around, won't they know why?" Sima Yue said. "That's true," Xiao Ruabai said. "But since we're here, let's just go shopping. You're not familiar with Vast City, right? I'll take you to familiarize yourself with it," Xiao Ruabai said. Sima Yue didn't refuse. She didn't go to many places last time. Now that Murong Hui was not at home, it was good to go out. When Ting Shui heard that she decided to go out, she went to report to Murong Lin. Murong Lin didn't care about Sima Yue's itinerary, but knowing that she was going outside, he would pay more attention to her safety. When they were about to leave the yard, Little Black ran out and barked twice at Sima Yue. "You play at home," Sima Yue said with her head down. "Woo woo woo." Little Black bit the corner of her skirt, looking like he wouldn't let her go if she didn't take him. This little guy is still like this. Xiao Ruabai saw Little Black's shameless look and missed him being silly in atavistic Orchid Mountain. "No," Sima Yue said. "What if you don't behave when you go out?" "Woo woo woo." "No." "Really?" Little Black nodded vigorously. "All right then." Sima Yue agreed. Little Black immediately let go of her skirt. Blackie usually played in the residence, so it was his first time out on the streets. Everything he saw was new to him. He scratched here and there, as if he was a human. Sima Yue and Xiao Ruabai followed behind and looked at it speechlessly. However, it only went around and didn't do anything to hurt others, so it didn't care. People on the street were angry when they saw Little Hay causing trouble, but they didn't dare to say anything when they saw Sima Yue following behind. The spirit cloth in this shop is quite good. Let's go in and have a look." Xiao Ruabai took her to a shop that sold clothes. "All right." Sima Yue called Little Hay back and brought it into the shop. Xiao Hay was so fast that the people guarding the door couldn't stop him before he rushed in. Sima Yue and Xiao Ruabai were stopped outside. "My young miss is inside. You can't go in." The person at the door stretched out his hand and said with a cold face, "The door is open. Why can't we go in?" Xiao Ruabai was a little surprised and looked at a waiter on the side. The waiter knew Xiao Ruabai and Sima Yue. He hurried forward and explained with a smile. "Princess young Miss Xiao, I'm really sorry. Today, young Miss Dong came and booked the entire shop, so business is suspended today." "Suspended? When did your iridescent clouds pavilion start to be booked?" Xiao Ruabai asked. It's not a booking. My young master is entertaining a friend." The waiter explained. "One moment, you said that young Miss Dong booked the whole place, and the next moment, you said that your young master is entertaining a friend. Your words don't match. Do you think we are easy to fool?" Xiao Ruabai said with a cold face. "Young Miss Xiao, don't be angry. I'm not talking nonsense. Our iridescent clouds pavilion usually doesn't allow people to book the whole place. It's because young Miss Dong is a friend of my young master that we gave her face and let them book the whole place." The waiter smiled apologetically. "I'm really sorry about today. Come another day. Our shop has a 20% discount." "Young Miss Dong? Dong Qishuang?" Sima Yue asked. "No, Dong Qishuang doesn't have such a big face. With such a big lineup, I think most likely Dong Qilian is back." Xiao Ruabai snorted coldly. "Only that woman likes to pay attention to these things. Who is Dong Qilian?" Sima Yue asked. Young Miss Dong Qishuang's sister. She has the best talent among the younger generation of the Dong family. She has a good relationship with the Dong family's concubine, and often runs to the prince's mansion to stay. When we first came back, I heard that she was still in the prince's mansion. I didn't expect her to come back so soon, Xiaoruabai said. Then before Sima Yue could finish her words, there was a scream from inside. Ah, where did this dog come from? Kill it for me. Then there was a chaotic sound in Xiaohei's cry. Kill it for me. What are you still doing? Don't you know that my sister hates dogs the most? Why did you let that dog in? Dong Qishuang's voice was as sharp as ever. Young miss, second young miss, we don't know how it got in. We will drive it out now. What are you rushing for? Kill it on the spot. A female voice gritted her teeth. It sounded like Dong Qilian. Yes. Sima Yue and Xiaoruabai heard the movement inside and rolled their eyes helplessly. I forgot that Dong Qilian was chased by many stray dogs when she was young, so she hated dogs since she was young. When she saw Xiaohei, I'm afraid, Xiaoruabai said with some worry. Woof woof woof. Xiaohei's cheerful cry came, as if he was not hurt by so many people inside. Xiaoruabai saw that Sima Yue did not intend to go in, so she was not anxious and asked, Aren't you worried about Xiaohei? What's there to worry about? It won't be the one who will suffer. Sima Yue was very calm. Xiaoruabai wanted to ask where she got her confidence from, but listening to the movement inside, it seemed that Xiaohei was indeed fine. Wasn't Xiaohei an ordinary dog? Was it so powerful that it could escape from so many people inside? Bang, bang. Ah! The people inside were in a mess, and the people guarding outside were worried and ran in to help. Now that no one is stopping us, let's go in and take a look. Sima Yue strode in after saying that. What kind of dog is this? How can it be so fast? Every time they were about to catch it, it could slip away. Was such a speed really something a dog could do? Are you all a bunch of trash? So many people can't deal with a dog. Why did my Dong family raise a bunch of trash like you? Sima Yue walked in and saw Dong Qishuang and a woman who looked similar to her, and a very good-looking man standing on the side. In the shop, a group of people fell to the ground, and a few were chasing Xiaohei around. Chapter 1789. 1 second to remember. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Xiaoruabai looked at the scene here, and was amused. Especially the guards of the Dong family all over the ground, and Dong Qilian's frightened look. She laughed until she couldn't stand up straight. When Yuan Yan saw Sima Yue, he frowned, and the disgust in his eyes was undisguised. Dong Qishuang saw Sima Yue and Dong Qishuang, and shouted, Morongshi, what are you doing here? Sima Yue didn't want to pay attention to this kind of idiot. Seeing that Xiaohei was almost done playing, she called out, Xiaohei, come back. Xiaohei was playing hide and seek with the people who were chasing him. When he heard Sima Yue's call, he rushed over like lightning and threw himself into her arms. Are you hurt? Sima Yue touched Xiaohei's body to check if he was injured, ignoring those people. This dog is yours? Dong Qishuang looked at Sima Yue and asked. Yes. So many of you are surrounding my puppy to kill. I will definitely tell my father. This is a precious breed that he found for me for a long time. And it was almost killed by you. I don't know what explanation the Dong family is going to give me. Sima Yue asked. You still want to ask us for an explanation? You scared my sister like this, and you don't obediently hand over your dog, and you still dare to ask for an explanation? I have never seen such a shameless person like you. You want to kill my dog, shouldn't you ask for an explanation? Sima Yue asked. Are you trying to reason with us? Your dog appeared and scared my sister, so we naturally have to kill it, Dong Qishuang said. My puppy appeared and scared your sister, so you want to kill it. Then your appearance scared me, can I also kill you? Sima Yue asked. How can that be the same? Dong Qishuang shouted. What is the identity of the dog? What is my identity? You dare to compare me with it. Oh. Sima Yue suddenly realized. You're right, you can't be compared. You're far worse than my puppy. Comparing you to it, Isn't that lowering its status? Xiao Ruabai burst out laughing. Seeing Dong Qishuang's angry face, she waved her hand and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it." It would have been better if she didn't explain. Once she did, Dong Qishuang became even angrier. "Murongxi, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you've become so sharp-tongued." Dong Qilian saw that Sima Yue was completely different from before. She couldn't even scold Dong Qishuang and said, "Who are you?" "I'm sorry, I don't know most people." Sima Yue curled her lips and looked down on Dong Qilian. "Murongxi, I know you have lost your memory, but you don't have to pretend. Today's matter was caused by your underworld beast. You must give us an explanation today." Dong Qilian said. "Otherwise we will definitely go to the Duke to ask for an explanation." "Sure. Go ahead. I'd like to see what my father will say to you if you kill my puppy indiscriminately." Sima Yue wasn't worried and gently stroked Xiaohei's back. "Even if this matter is brought to Wang Ye, you are still in the wrong. How are we indiscriminately? It's obvious that your puppy scared my sister." Dong Qishuang cried. "But my puppy didn't attack her. She just walked around the shop and didn't even touch the corner of your sister's clothes, right? If she was scared, then the reason should be found from your sister. If she wasn't timid, how could she be scared by herself? So the reason is still you," Sima Yue retorted unhurriedly. "This place has been booked by us, so it's better for anyone to enter. If you didn't order your underworld dog to suddenly appear, how could the following things happen? Then you can't blame me for this matter," Sima Yue said innocently. "You said that it was because no one was allowed to enter that caused today's incident. But you only stipulated that people can't come in, but you didn't say that underworld beasts can't enter, right? In that case, the puppy can come in at will." PFFF cough cough. Xiao Ruabai tried to control herself not to laugh, but her body really betrayed her completely. Sima Yue glanced at her and continued. "If you didn't stop me and Ruabai outside, and I caught up with my puppy, she wouldn't have suddenly appeared and scared your sister. In that case, if you want to blame someone, you can only blame the 2 guards at the door. Right? Right? Right, your big head. You are twisting words." Dong Qishuang didn't think of how to refute. She stomped her feet and shouted angrily. "How am I twisting words? What I said is very reasonable, okay?" Sima Yue said. "If you didn't stop me, would my puppy run in by itself? If it wasn't for your sister's timidity, and my puppy didn't attack her, would she be scared? You wanted to kill it, so it naturally ran away. Do you want to blame it for this? Of course. Yes, if it was just an ordinary underworld dog. If its owner was just an ordinary person. In front of the strength of your Dong family, it is indeed guilty. But unfortunately, its owner happens to be me." Sima Yue said. "What should I do? You want to kill me, but you don't dare. After all, this is in broad daylight, in front of everyone. My Duke manner is not so easy to provoke. You are very confident that we can't do anything to you today," Dong Qilian said. "It's a pity that you met me today. Go kill that underworld dog for me." Dong Qilian ordered her guard. That guard stood up and prepared to attack Sima Yue. Let me tell you, my sister has already received Wang Ye's recognition and directly obtained the right to participate in the dynasty competition. You are just a duke's daughter. How can you compare to my sister? Go kill that underworld dog. If she can't bear to, then kill them together." After receiving the order, that guard looked at Sima Yue with a murderous gaze. Sima Yue stroked Little Black and said, "Sai, even the Duke's daughter is so pitiful. What should we do? Are the 2 of us going to be killed today?" "Woof woof woof." Little Black barked at her twice. Sima Yue smiled and said, "Our Little Black has grown up and knows how to protect me. So obedient. Just do whatever you want to do. Go kill them." Dong Qishuang saw that Sima Yue was not afraid at all. She looked so carefree as if she was a clown, and the anger in her heart burned even brighter. "Go." Sima Yue patted Little Black. A black shadow flashed in front of everyone's eyes, followed by a scream. That guard had only taken 2 steps forward before he fell down. Black blood spurted out and splashed in front of Dong Qilian and her sister. Chapter 1790. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. For a time, everyone in the room was stunned. And the way they looked at Little Black changed again and again. A dog actually had such combat power. That was an underworld master, Dong Qilian's personal bodyguard. How could he be bitten to death by a dog without any spiritual power? Did they see wrongly just now? Woof woof woof. Little Black barked twice at the dead man on the ground, triumphant. Little guy, you dare to kill your grandfather, humph. Let's see what you can do. Sima Yue did not expect that Little Black would bite someone to death in an instant. She was not worried about making a big deal out of it. But if Little Black was exposed in front of others, it would attract others' attention. Xiao Ruabai stared at Little Black with wide eyes. Sheer, where did you get this dog? It's so powerful. Tomorrow, I'll get someone to get me one too. Blackie doesn't have any spirit energy. It's just that its speed is faster, and its teeth are sharper. Sima Yu waved at Blackie and it ran over. Woof woof woof. Little Black barked twice at Sima Yue, quite eager to take credit. Well, you did well. I'll cook something delicious for you when we get back. Sima Yue picked up Little Black and prepared to leave. Stop. Dong Qishuang and the others came back to their senses. Their own people were killed. How could they let them go like this? What? How many more masters do you want to lose? Sima Yue stroked Little Black. If you want, I don't mind Little Black biting a few more people to death. Dong Qishuang, today's matter is clearly your own responsibility, and now you want to blame it on us. It depends on whether we are willing or not. Xiao Ruabai said. Sheer is the daughter of the Duke. Does your Dong family want to rebel? My sister has already obtained the qualification for the dynasty competition. How dare a piece of trash compare with my sister? Dong Qishuang clamored. I don't want to be mentioned in the same breath as a white lotus. It lowers my style. Sima Yue said. If you don't want to die like this person on the ground, it's best not to move. Ruabai, let's go. After saying that, she hugged Xiaohei and left Iridescent Cloud's pavilion with Xiao Ruabai. Seeing that Dong Qilian didn't stop her, Dong Qishuang stomped her feet and shouted, Sister, are we just going to let her leave like this? Dong Qilian's eyes darkened. Did he think he would be unscathed after provoking her? How could she allow such a thing to happen? However, she was now with Yuan Yan, so it was not good to be too ruthless. Let's just forget about this matter. Who asked her to be the Duke's daughter? You dispose of the body. She glanced at Yuan Yan with a little grievance, hoping to get sympathy from him. However, Yuan Yan didn't pay attention to her at all, but looked at the gate thoughtfully. She hasn't looked at him alone since she came in just now. Even if she glanced at him when she first came in to assess the situation, it was as if she was looking at a stranger. Did she really change her temperament and no longer like good-looking men? Dong Qilian looked at Yuan Yan in a daze and didn't pay attention to herself at all, and asked, Young Master Yuan, what are you looking at? Yuan Yan returned to his senses and saw Dong Qilian's curious gaze. He felt a burst of chagrin in his heart. How could he be distracted thinking about that guy? Nothing. I just feel that this Murongxi is different. He put away his thoughts and said faintly, I'm really sorry about today's matter. It has dirted your place. Dong Qilian smiled. Let someone calculate these dirted spirit cloths and report it to our house. No need, my Iridescent Cloud's pavilion can still afford this loss. Besides, she doesn't blame you for this matter. It can't be counted on the Dong family. Yuan Yan had a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, which was both decent and distant. It was a typical businessman-like smile. But if you look carefully, you will find that the smile didn't reach the bottom of his eyes at all. When Dong Qilian heard him say this, the smile on her face became more real. Although this matter was caused by Murongxi's dog, if it weren't for my fear, it wouldn't have become like this, so I still have my reasons. Yuan Yan suddenly felt that Dong Qilian's artificial style was a little painful to look at, and nodded. Since Miss Dong said so, shopkeeper, calculate the loss and report half of it to the Dong family. Miss Dong, I still have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. When Yuan Yin said this, Dong Qilian was stunned. She didn't have time to stop him, and watched him leave the shop blankly. He just left like that. By the time she came to her senses, the smile on her face had disappeared. How can he be like this? Sister, how can this young master Yuan leave you and leave by himself? How can he be like this? Dong Qishuang spoke out Dong Qilian's thoughts, but unconsciously through her sister's face again. He should have something to do. Dong Qilian saw that he was gone, and she was not as kind to the people of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion as before. She instructed the shopkeeper. Shopkeeper, after calculating the money, just send it directly to the Dong family. Let's go. The shopkeeper of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion looked at the blood on the ground. While letting people clean it up, he also let people calculate the loss just now. He muttered in his heart that this young master didn't seem to be very good with Miss Dong. Why did he agree to let her book the whole place? Moreover, he only said to send half of it to the Dong family. He didn't say whether the remaining half should be sent to the Junwang mansion. Then, should the Junwang mansion bear this half? Thinking of the young master looking at Sima Yoyu as back in a daze, the shopkeeper still felt that the young master didn't seem to be angry with her. So the remaining half shouldn't be sent over. It's really strange. Doesn't the young master hate Morongshi very much? Why don't I feel that way? He muttered in a low voice, instructed those people again, and turned back to the inner hall. Yuan Yin didn't know what was wrong with him. Why did he follow Sima Yu and the others out again? Obviously, one of the tasks given to him by the family was to have a good relationship with Dong Qilian, but for some reason, he left the people he wanted to befriend and followed the people he hated. After he followed Sima Yue for a long time, he realized what he was doing. Why did he follow her? Was it because he didn't see panic on her face when he came out, but she was talking and laughing with Xiao Ruabai, so he was led by that smile? But why? No, I'm only interested in that dog of the underworld, he said to himself, and followed her with a clear conscience. And he was not the only one who was interested in Xiao He. After Dong Qilian came out of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion, she instructed the people around her. Send someone to find out what's going on with that dog. After finding out, kill Morongshi for me. Chapter 1791. Remember in a second, Love Divided by You? Reads Book Web. Update quickly, no pop-up window. Read for free. Sima Yue took Xiao Ruabai into a small alley. Yuan Yin hesitated for a moment, but still followed them in. He didn't expect to see two people and a dog staring at him as soon as he entered. Brother, you have been following us all the way. Do you want us to compensate for the loss of Iridescent Cloud's pavilion? Sima Yue asked. Yuan Yin opened his mouth, wanting to say that it was not like this, but what about later? Why did he follow them? Don't you remember me? Should I know you? Sima Yue looked at him with doubts in her eyes, but her eyes were clear. I am Yuan Yin. Yuan Yin said. Young Master Yuan. Sima Yue nodded politely. The other party was still polite at the moment, so she didn't have to be too tit for tat. Xiao Ruabai on the side thought of something and whispered. Hiss, you are Yuan Yin. You are that Yuan Yin? You know him? Sima Yue looked at her. What do you mean you are that Yuan Yin? Could it be that Yuan Yin is still that Yuan Yin? Xiao Ruabai twitched the corners of her mouth and said. He is the young master of the Yuan family who was molested by you and made you unable to go to the UNG tea house to drink tea. It's him? Sima Yue glared at Yuan Yin. Well, I was young and ignorant before and offended you a lot, but it's been so long, you don't have to settle accounts with me, right? Yuan Yin looked at her. The surprise in her eyes was real, and the slight embarrassment was also real. Coupled with this appearance, it actually made him feel that her face was unprecedentedly pleasing to the eye. I'm not looking for you to settle accounts with you, he said, seeing her obvious relief, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Then why did you follow us all the way? If you want to find losses, go to Miss Dong. Anyway, you have a good relationship. Sima Yue blurted out. I don't have a good relationship with her. Yuan Yin explained subconsciously. Only when he said it did he feel that his behavior was inappropriate, but he didn't know why, he just didn't want her to misunderstand. It's just that we have met in the King City. She has some connections with the family, so I made an exception to entertain her. Then you want me to compensate you? I'm very poor and have no money to give you. Sima Yue thought about her own property. The money was given by Morong Hui, not her own, so she really had no money. However, if she knew about Xiao Hei's treasure chest, she wouldn't think that way. I didn't want you to pay for it. Yuan Yin smiled. Then why are you following us? Sima Yue was surprised. Yuan Yin wanted to say that he didn't know why he followed her. He obviously hated her so much before. Seeing Little Black struggling in her arms, he thought of a reason. I saw that your contracted beast was very powerful, not like an ordinary underworld dog at all, so I wanted to take a look, he said. Sima Yue hugged Xiao Hei tightly and instinctively took a step back, saying, Don't even think about snatching my puppy away. I'm not trying to snatch it. If I really wanted to snatch it, I wouldn't have appeared in front of you. Yuan Yin explained. I'm just curious about it. An underworld dog with no spiritual power fluctuations actually bit an underworld master to death. This would indeed make people very curious. Really? Sima Yue narrowed her eyes and stared at him. That gaze made him feel that if he had any thoughts about this underworld dog, she would not hesitate to kill him. Really? I'm just curious and want to take a closer look, he promised. Sima Yue stared at him for a long time and said, Well, I'll show you. Come here. Originally, she wouldn't pay much attention to such a person, but thinking that Morong she had once flirted with him, she stared at her identity and could help her resolve some grievances. Yuan Yin saw her waving to him, and he really walked over, without any defense against her at all. Look, my puppy is really nothing special, it's just faster and its teeth are sharper. Sima Yue put Xiao Hei in Yuan Yin's hand. Xiao Hei wanted to protest, but she glared back. Yuan Yin hugged Xiao Hei and stared at him with dog eyes. Xiao Hei also barked at him twice. Is there really nothing special? It's just faster? He checked Xiao Hei and found that it really had no spiritual power. Sima Yue took Xiao Hei from his arms and said, Haven't you heard of the saying, in the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable? If Xiao Hei didn't have such speed, even if its teeth were sharp, it wouldn't have been able to kill that underworld master. It would have been killed by the other party before it even got close. Well, you've seen it, don't hate Sheer anymore. Goodbye. She was talking about Shi not me. That sentence was said for Morong Shi. Yuan Yin didn't chase after them this time, and watched them leave in a daze. In the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable. He murmured and repeated her words. Suddenly, he was enlightened, and the bottle that had been trapping him loosened. He immediately rushed back. After Xiao Ruobai left the alley, she was still thinking about what Sima Yue said. You're right, in the world of martial arts, only speed is unbreakable. If we can be faster than others when using underworld skills, then we can seize the opportunity and win first. She said, so when we cultivate, not only do we have to improve our level, but also improve our speed. Haha, Sheer, I seem to understand something. In fact, many people understand this truth, but everyone always forgets it inadvertently. Sima Yue said. Xiao Ruobai suddenly stopped and said, Sheer, I seem to be about to advance. Why are you suddenly advancing? Sima Yue asked. I could have advanced before, but I haven't been able to comprehend it enough. Now with your pointers. Then go back quickly, don't miss the opportunity. I'll go back by myself. With Little Black, I'll be fine. Sima Yue said. Xiao Ruobai thought about it and said, I'll apologize to you later. Then she quickly left. Sima Yue didn't know that a simple sentence of hers that couldn't be more ordinary would actually allow two people to successfully advance in rank. She put Little Black on the ground and said, Let's go back too? Woof woof woof. Little Black barked twice. Sima Yue looked forward and saw an enchanting man looking at her. She was not unfamiliar with this person. She saw him on the day she quarreled with Dong Qi Shuang. He had been looking at her, just like now. I didn't know that the daughter of the County Wangye could say such a thing, and let people comprehend the truth and break through the bottle. Emoji said. Who are you? Sima Yue stroked the anxious Little Black. You're waiting for me here. What's the matter? Nothing, I just want to know you. I'm talking about you, not the daughter of the county king. Emoji smiled. Sima Yue looked at him, and her heart sank. Who is he? Does he know my identity? Chapter 1792. In 1 second, she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book Webno pop-up window free to read. Sima Yue looked at Emoji vigilantly, mentally estimating the possibility of quietly killing him. You are not Morongshi. Emoji did not answer her question. He was not anxious about the killing intent in her eyes. He seemed very calm, and the smile on the corner of his mouth did not change. If I am not Morongshi, who am I? Sima Yue did not admit it. Did we know each other before? I don't know who you are, but I know you are not Morongshi. A person, even if they lose their memory, will not change their temperament. Emoji said affirmatively. Or you can tell me who you are. I am Morongshi, she said. If you say so. Emoji did not care about her answer. Anyway, I know it in my heart. Then what are you talking about? She felt that this person was a little inexplicable. His strength did not seem to be low, so it should be difficult to kill him quietly. Since he did not know her identity, then forget it, let him live. She held Xiaohei, bypassed him and walked away. We will meet again. As she passed by him, he said something meaningful. Sima Yue smiled at him, not even bothering to say goodbye. Emoji looked at her back as she left. The smile on the corner of his mouth did not diminish. So she really? Old ancestor, you really know me. Sima Yue had already left, so she didn't see the scene where he left silently. She left with Xiaohei. In view of today's matter, she really wanted to throw Xiaohei into the spirit pagoda, but Xiaohei was having fun and refused to go in at all. What made her collapse was that she found that the spirit pagoda was damaged. She did not have the strength, so she could not forcibly take Xiaohei into the spirit pagoda. Therefore, Xiaohei was unwilling to go back. She could only watch it run happily on the street, looking here and there, not realizing that it had been targeted. In the end, under her coercion, it finally reluctantly followed her back. However, at that time, the sky was already dark. As soon as she got home, the housekeeper Morong Lin walked over and said anxiously, Miss, you're back. Sima Yue rarely saw him like this. She thought that something had happened to Morong Hui. Her heart sank and she asked, What's wrong? Did something happen to father? It's not master, it's... Morong Lin glanced at Sima Yue. Someone sent a gift to Mississippi. A gift for me? Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. Are you sure it's for me? Yes. Morong Lin saw that Sima Yue was so surprised and knew that she didn't know either. He said, In the afternoon, someone sent a gift over and indicated that it was for Mississippi. I opened it and took a look. The things inside. You better take a look yourself. Sima Yue had a bad premonition when she saw the butler's expression. She followed him to the hall. The butler dismissed everyone, then took out a black wooden box and handed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue took the box and opened it. When she saw what was inside, her eyes widened and she said incredulously, How could it be? Morong Lin had been looking at Sima Yue and saw all her reactions. Seeing that her surprise was not disguised, he said, I was also very surprised when I saw it. Miss, do you know who gave you the gift? I just came to Liao City. Where do I know a few people? Sima Yue shook her head. Could it be those two masters? Morong Lin guessed. No. Sima Yue denied. They have all left. Even if they have secretly arranged to keep an eye on us, the matter of us arranging the spirit gathering array will not be passed to them so quickly, and they will find the spirit gathering pearl so quickly. Yes, the black box contained the spirit gathering pearl. They were looking for the spirit gathering pearl. But who knew that they were using the spirit gathering array, and that they needed the spirit gathering pearl? It was terrifying to think about it. No wonder Morong Lin's face changed. This was their secret. Now it was known by others, and it was specifically given to her. This was even more strange, because she only had one friend here, Xiao Ruabai, but it was obviously not from her. Emoji's shadow appeared in Sima Yue's mind. She didn't know why, but she felt that this should be given by him. Miss, the person who sent this thing. Morong Lin was very worried. Sima Yue put away the thing and said, "Since this thing has been sent here, it means that the other party already knows about the spirit gathering array. But choosing this way means that the other party will not say it out. So it seems that the other party has no malice for the time being. Then this thing, since it has been sent here, it would be a waste not to use it." Sima Yue said, "I will upgrade their spirit gathering array in a while." Morong Lin wanted to say that the other party's identity was unknown, so this thing should be treated with caution, but seeing that Sima Yue didn't care, he took it back. "Housekeeper, you know." Sima Yue wanted to inquire about Emoji's identity from the housekeeper, only to realize that she didn't know Emoji's name, so she described Emoji's appearance. "I don't know when there was such a person in Vast City." Morong Lin thought about it, and really didn't think of such a person in Vast City. "Is this person the one who sent the gift?" "I think it's probably the case." Sima Yue said, "Since you don't know, then you don't have to worry about it. I will deal with this matter. You go do other things." "Yes." Morong Lin responded and left. Sima Yue opened the box and looked at the 3 spirit gathering pearls inside. She was not as calm as she looked on the surface. This person's aura is more mysterious than others, but there is a sense of familiarity. He knows that I need the spirit gathering pearls, which means that he knows the City Lord mansion like the back of his hand. She looked at the spirit gathering pearls. From today's meeting, this person is not so easy to deal with. It's really uncomfortable to have so many uncertainties around us. The next time they meet, she must figure out his identity. If it was a dangerous factor, then it must be pulled out as soon as possible. However, with Mi Air's current situation, she didn't know if he could deal with it. The most important thing now is to find that mineral vein and restore its strength. Then it's time to cultivate my soul and touch the seal in my body. She slammed the box shut. "Now let's use this thing. It's a waste not to use it." She went to Hibiscus Court and put the spirit gathering pearls into the spirit gathering array. In order to cooperate with this, she also made a small change to the array. In this way, the spirit gathering effect was several times faster than before. In the next few days, she had been cultivating in seclusion. Later, Xiao Ruabai came to find her once and expressed her gratitude. But she didn't stay for long. When she broke through to the middle stage of the body condensation stage, Mu Ruabai was stunned. A-class equals __cf email_ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection datic female equals ed3062 add 3f5f. Email protected is back. Miss. Ting Shui ran in from outside the yard, and Ting Shan just came out of the house. Seeing her running in a hurry, she reprimanded. "You be steady, don't scare miss." "No, that something happened." Ting Shui ran too anxiously, and her words were incoherent. "What happened? Why are you so anxious?" It's master he. What happened to my father?" Sima Yue opened the door, looked at Ting Shui, and asked in a deep voice. "Master is injured and he is calling the doctor over. It seems to be very serious, I don't know. Hey miss, master is in his yard." Before Ting Shui finished speaking, Sima Yue's shadow had disappeared. Sima Yue ran to Morong Hui's yard in one breath, and the first thing she saw was Morong Lin, who came out anxiously. "Uncle Lin, how is my father?" "Young miss, old master's injuries are very serious. The doctors in the manor are treating him, but we have already sent someone to invite Master Fu, the most skilled doctor in the city. We hope that he will treat old master on account of their past friendship." Morong Lin did not hide anything from Sima Yue. He knew that she would not be like Morong Shi, who would only lose control and do bad things. "Even the doctors in the mansion are useless? Is father hurt so badly?" Sima Yue whispered. "I'll go and see. Miss, several doctors are inside. It's useless for you to go in." Morong Lin pulled her and did not let her go in to make trouble. Housekeeper. A guard ran in from outside and saw Morong Lin, and said breathlessly, Master Fu is not in the city." "What? Where did he go?" Morong Lin shouted. "Without Master Fu, and the doctors inside were not good, who else could save Master?" Master Fu was in the city 2 days ago, and now I don't know where he went. The guard said. What did you say? Master Fu is not here. How is this possible? The second housekeeper just came out of the house. Do the guards know that you are from the Duke's mansion? Of course they know. The guard wanted to say that what he asked was nonsense. They were wearing the guard's clothes of the city lord's mansion, who in Liao City didn't know that they were from the city lord's mansion. The best doctors in the city are already inside. Now we can't find Master Fu. Who can save Master? How could Master Fu go out of the city at this time? Could this be deliberately arranged by someone? The second housekeeper said. Now we can't take care of that. You send someone to find him. You must find Master Fu. Once you find him, you must tie him up for me. Go. Sima Yue was worried in her heart and stopped listening to these words. She bypassed them and entered Morong Hui's room. As soon as she entered, she did not see Morong Hui, but saw 7 or 8 doctors surrounding his bed, so that she could not see the situation inside. However, those doctors did not play any role there, and they just said some of their own guesses. Some people talked about how to deal with the injury on Morong Hui's hand. Some people talked about how to repair his liver, but they couldn't even do the most basic hemostasis. Morong Lin also followed in. Seeing them like this, he smelled the strong smell of blood in the room and shouted, You can't treat trauma, but don't you even know the most basic hemostasis? Housekeeper Lin, it's not that we don't know how, but the Duke is poisoned. His blood can't be coagulated at all. A doctor said. Poisoned? Yes. Without the antidote for this poison, there is no way to stop the bleeding. But we have used various methods to greatly reduce the Duke's bleeding. Useless waste, get out of here. Sima Yue saw Morong Hui wrapped like a dumpling and was furious and shouted at the doctor in the room. Her roar made the room quiet down instantly. Uncle Lin, get these useless wastes out of here. Sima Yue told Morong Lin. Miss, those doctors had always been respected, but they were actually pointed to the nose by Sima Yue and scolded as wastes. They were so angry that they couldn't speak. Miss. Morong Lin was also surprised. If there were no these people, what would the master do? Uncle Lin. Sima Yue looked at Morong Lin. The latter saw her fierce eyes and said to the other doctors, Since the miss has spoken, you all go out. Morong Lin, she is fooling around. Can't you tell what's important? If you drive us out, what about the Duke? Father has been back for almost half an hour. Do you have any use? Get out of here. Sima Yue really didn't like these doctors at all. They couldn't treat the Duke. Before they thought of a way to detoxify the Duke, they even stood by the bed and talked loudly, flaunting that they were already very powerful. This kind of person was painful to look at. When Morong Lin heard what she said, he thought about it and drove all those people out. The doctors were angry, but they were still driven out of the room. Morong Lin closed the door, turned around and saw Sima Yue sitting by the bed, took out scissors, cut off all the bandages on Morong Hui's body, and exclaimed, Miss, what are you doing? These are useless. Sima Yue's hands moved quickly, and in a few moves, all the bandages were removed. Morong Lin looked at her and didn't know if he should stop her. Come and help me. Move the stool over first. Sima Yue saw him in a daze and ordered. Morong Lin didn't know why, but he waved his hand, sucked the stool over there, and put it beside her. Sima Yue took out the box containing the silver needles, opened it, and all the silver needles inside were exposed. When Morong Lin saw those silver needles, he also understood that she wanted to give them to Mu personally. A-class equals __cf email_ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection. Datic female equals B76A3ATF7610E661D. Email protected. Sima Yue inserted the silver needles into Morong Hui's acupoints one by one, and his bleeding wound slowly stopped bleeding. At this time, she was extremely glad that she was promoted a few days ago, and the sealed power was automatically unsealed, which improved her soul power. Her strength improved, and the soul pagoda was further unsealed, revealing more and more things. The silver needle was one of them. After a while, the blood on Morong Hui's body had completely stopped, and Morong Lin was very happy. Miss, has the master's poison been detoxified? He didn't know much about the silver needle technique, so he didn't know the role of the silver needle. Thinking that those pharmacists said that the blood couldn't stop without detoxification, he thought that the silver needle was really so magical. Sima Yue pulled out the silver needle, took out a handkerchief, and wiped the blood off Murong Hui's face. The poison hasn't been detoxified yet. I just used the silver needle to seal these places, so I can stop the bleeding temporarily. You stay here. I need some time to study the poison in my father's body. After that, she left the room with the bloody handkerchief and ordered that no one was allowed to go in, and violators would be killed. Chapter 1793. Male sign Sima Yue went to the next room, set up the enchantment, got into the spirit pagoda, and began to study the poison in his body. Whenever this happened, she was very glad that she had learned a lot of things about the ghost world because of her mother. She was studying poison in the spirit pagoda, and Murong Lin was guarding Murong Hui in the room. Seeing the silver needles on his body, and then looking at the enchantment she had arranged, his heart was filled with emotion. Master, don't look at how little spiritual power Miss has, but the enchantment she has arranged, even I can't break it so easily. It's really exquisite. He murmured. Miss can do so many things at such a young age, but Princess Luo really gave birth to a good daughter. A few hours later, Sima Yue came out, took out a list of medicinal materials and gave it to Murong Hui, and said, You find the things on it for me, by tomorrow morning at the latest. Murong Lin took it and looked at it and said, These medicinal materials are not very rare. Most of them are available in the house. The others need to be found outside, so it may take a little longer. But they should be found tonight. Well, I'll keep watch here. You can ask someone to do it. Sima Yue said. Murong Lin saluted and went down. The sooner these medicinal materials were delivered, the sooner Murong Hui's poison could be cured. Sima Yue leaned against the head of the bed and dozed off. It's been a few days in the spirit pagoda, and she hasn't rested, and now she's a little tired. When she finds the medicinal materials, she has to refine pills, so she must maintain her spiritual power. When Murong Lin prepared the medicinal materials and came in, he saw her leaning against the head of the bed with her eyes closed. He looked at her with some heartache. Was she tired before? Sima Yue felt someone come in, opened her eyes and asked, Okay. Yes. Sima Yue checked Murong Hui's pulse and made sure that his condition was stable. Then she got up and said to Murong Lin, Is there anyone 100% reliable? 100% reliable? Murong Lin was stunned and didn't understand why she said that. I don't think this time it's so simple. I don't trust the people in the house. I need to find someone 100% reliable to guard. Sima Yue said. I'll guard the master. Murong Lin said. Sima Yue shook her head. I need your help with what I'm going to do later. Someone I trust 100% must be very strong. It's hard to confirm in such a short time. Murong Lin saw that Sima Yue's expression was so dignified, and he also noticed the strangeness. In order to ensure the safety of Murong Hui, this ordinary person definitely can't do it. I'll keep watch. A short figure walked out of the door. The enchantment set up by Sima Yue did not obstruct him. His strength was still too low. Sima Yue looked at the old man. Wasn't he the old man she had seen in the library? Ancestor. Murong Lin saluted him. Sima Yue was not surprised. She had already guessed his identity. Go and do whatever you want to do. Leave this place to me. The little old man said to the two of them. Then I'll have to trouble you, ancestor. Don't let anyone come near here. Uncle Lin, come with me. Sima Yue took Murong Lin to the next room, took out a furnace and said, I'll refine the detoxification medicinal pill in a while. You stay here. When I need you to inject spiritual power, you do as I say. My spiritual power is too little to refine such a high-level medicinal pill. Murong Lin didn't expect that Sima Yue called him here for this and responded, Okay. Sima Yue didn't talk much nonsense. She took out a furnace and the medicinal materials he had prepared, and began to skillfully refine them. Murong Lin also studied alchemy for a period of time. Sima Yue's movements were very skilled at first glance. It could even be said that she was at the master level. When refining the medicinal materials, Sima Yue made a few mistakes in the middle, and then the rest were completed smoothly. It's my first time refining medicinal materials from the ghost realm. I'm not familiar with it, Sima Yue said. Next, I'll start to condense the pill. She didn't have her own flame yet. The previous flames couldn't be used now, so she could only borrow external flames. It was very difficult to operate, and she didn't succeed 3 times in a row. She took a deep breath and secretly told herself not to worry. She picked up the last refined essence and began to refine the pill. Muronglin was secretly surprised when he saw her adjusting her state. He kept looking at her and found that because she was not familiar with the ghost realm's medicinal pills, she didn't grasp it well, causing her to fail several times. Her mood was inevitably a little impetuous. But he didn't expect that she would calm herself down again in less than a minute. This temperament was really not something that ordinary people had. After a while, he suddenly heard her instructions, asking him to inject spiritual power into it. He immediately walked to the side of the furnace and injected his spiritual power into it. Sima Yue controlled the situation in the furnace and told Muronglin what to do. Although the whole process was very difficult, it was considered a success. She went up and opened the furnace. Seeing the strangely shaped medicinal pills inside, she breathed a sigh of relief. Let's try the effect of this medicinal pill. The two went back and saw the little old man's inquiring eyes. They nodded and came to Moronghui's bedside and fed him the medicinal pill. It will take half an hour for this medicinal pill to work. Muronglin felt that every minute of this half hour was like a year. It wasn't until half an hour later that Sima Yue went up to check Moronghui's pulse, and said that he had been detoxified, that his hanging heart was completely relieved. Master is finally fine. He looked at Sima Yue happily, and felt that she really understood everything. Don't be happy too early, Sima Yue said as she pulled out the silver needles. Now his poison has been detoxified. His injuries are still very serious. A little carelessness, and he may wake up. But at least now he has been detoxified, and it can be regarded as a big step forward. Muronglin now believed in her medical skills. Don't spread the news of father's detoxification for the time being, Sima Yue said. Don't show a very excited look when you go outside. Little girl, what do you want to do? The little old man asked. I suspect that father's incident this time should be caused by a traitor in the Duke's mansion. I haven't thought about what to do next, but I think it's better than saying it out loud. Once the people outside know about father's situation, we will be in a passive position, Sima Yue said. Well, what Shier said is right. You just tell the public that the Duke's situation is still very bad, and no one is allowed to disturb him. The little old man ordered. Do you have anyone you suspect? Sima Yue glanced at him and said faintly, If I have someone I suspect, I won't let you keep it secret, but let you catch them. However, I don't think it will take long for those people to jump out by themselves. Chapter 1794. The news that Moronghui was poisoned and could not stop bleeding quickly spread throughout Liao City, and the entire Duke mansion was shrouded in dark clouds. In those 2 days, bowls of blood-replenishing soup were sent in and basins of blood were brought out. The people outside couldn't get in, and they were anxious about the situation inside. But Sima Yue ordered that no one was allowed to go in, and they couldn't know the specific situation inside. In the past, although Moronghui was favored by Moronghui, her status in the city lord mansion was not high, and many people would not take her words to heart. But this time was different. The chief butler Muronglin personally executed the order, and the elders were personally in charge, and no one dared to disobey her orders. In Moronghui's room, there was no anxious atmosphere like outside, but it was very relaxed and comfortable. Moronghui and the little old man were playing chess on the bed. Muronglin was watching by the bed, and Sima Yue was fiddling with medicinal materials. She cut the medicinal materials sent in from outside, extracted the essence, and then put them in a bowl on the ground. Little Black on the ground sniffed and lazily closed his eyes. If you don't drink, go back, Sima Yue threatened. Little Black whimpered in protest, but still obediently drank all of it. In order to express its emotions, it ate the entire bowl, and even took a few bites of it. The movement here attracted the attention of the other 3 people. Seeing Little Black's aggrieved appearance, they all smiled and shook their heads. He doesn't want to drink, don't force him. The little old man defended. Sima Yue continued to fiddle with the medicinal materials, and said without raising her head, "These medicinal materials have to be tried. Why don't you try it?" The little old man looked at the medicinal materials in her hand and shook his head. "You'd better let your puppy try it for you." Little Black opened his eyes and glared at him, then closed them helplessly. Moronghui was about to play chess when he heard that she was going to study those medicinal materials, and said, "Shier, how long do I have to stay here?" "Father, your injury hasn't healed yet. You have to stay for at least 3 or 5 days. Sima Yue said. "When I think about it, Uncle Lin has already found out the mole." "Do you really think that this is something done by the mole?" the little old man asked. "I don't believe in coincidences. Too many coincidences come together. That is an ulterior motive," Sima Yue said. "Why did father encounter so many mythological beasts on his way back? Why is old Fu the only one who can cure him? Why was he poisoned by this kind of poison that won't be discovered? Moreover, the person who poisoned father would definitely be able to get close to him. With all these factors added together, it's hard not to be suspicious." "Then who do you think this mole is?" Moronghui asked. "I'm really curious, how many things do you know?" The little old man said, "Medicine, alchemy, array, what else do you know?" "That's all I know," Sima Yue said. "I just happened to learn a little before." The 3 of them looked at her. Obviously no one believed her. "By the way, father, did you go out this time to deal with the matter of the mineral vein? Is there a hidden mineral vein?" Sima Yue asked. "Originally, I wanted to deal with this matter, but now it seems that this matter should be fake news released by others." Fake. Sima Yue felt that it was unbelievable. "Because it's not just me, several families are involved in this matter. But no one has really found the mineral vein," Moronghui explained. "The surrounding mountains have been searched by us, but we haven't found anything. In addition, I was schemed against, so I think this news should be fake. It was released to lure me into a trap." "What if that news is true?" Sima Yue asked. "Really? Why do you think so?" Moronghui asked. "Because I don't think the person who set the trap should release this news out of thin air. If the news is too fake, you can't believe it." Sima Yue didn't say me air, and thought of such an excuse, which was also reasonable. "You're right." Moronghui also thought so. "The news we got before is indeed true. Otherwise, I wouldn't have rushed over with people. But after I got there, I couldn't find it for a long time, so I thought the news was fake. But after listening to your analysis, I think it makes sense. Father, I have some research on finding mineral veins. Why don't we wait for this matter to be over, and I'll look for it with you?" After Sima Yue finished speaking, she found that they were all staring at her and asked, "What's wrong? You know how to find mineral veins?" Murong Lin asked in surprise. "A little," Sima Yue said. "Although I don't understand it very well, one more person has one more strength. Maybe they can help something." "What you said is true. Then you can go with me." Moronghui agreed. The more he got along with Sima Yue, the more he felt that she was very capable, and maybe she could really help him find mineral veins. Recently, the situation in Vast Region has been very serious. Although he is deeply loved by Wang Ye, the hard conditions in Vast Region are not enough. It is of great significance to find mineral veins for both Vast Region and Wang Ye. "Someone is coming." The little old man threw the chess piece in his hand into the chess box. "Really, so many days have come, and I have wasted so much time." "Miss, you and Master stay in the room. Those people won't break in," Murong Lin said. "Okay." Sima Yue nodded. With her strength, she would not rush to die. Murong Lin and the little old man went out. She heard the sound of questioning and fighting outside in the room, and turned to look at Murong Hui. Murong Hui was still studying the chess game on the table, and he was not worried about the situation outside at all. It seemed that he had expected today's situation. She pouted. They obviously had an arrangement like this. Then they asked her like that just now. Didn't they just want to test her? Outside, the second butler surrounded the whole yard with people. For his appearance, Morong Lin and the others were not surprised at all, and they didn't even question him. And the two sides started fighting directly. Father, do you know it's the second butler? Sima Yue asked. I know. There are only a few people who can know my whereabouts so clearly. The others followed me to Eternal Brilliance City before coming back. The only one who can betray me is him. Then do you know who is behind him? Sima Yue asked again. Chapter 1795. Being able to become the second butler of the Duke Manor shows that he was still trusted by Morong Hui before. In the past few decades when he went to Eternal Brilliance City, he was instigated by others, which shows that the other party still has some ability. I have a little idea. Morong Hui didn't intend to elaborate. She still didn't want to know so much about those conspiracies. When Sima Yue heard him say this, she knew that he had a little idea in his heart, so she stopped asking and continued to study the medicinal materials in front of her. Woof woof woof. Xiaohei got up from the ground and bit the corner of her skirt. No, it's too dangerous outside. You can't go out. Be good, come and eat this. Woof woof woof. The protest is invalid. Xiaohei cried silently in his heart. When Morong Hui finished playing the game of chess, all the medicinal materials in front of Sima Yue were refined and poured into Xiaohei's mouth, and the battle outside was over. She got up and patted Xiaohei's head, and Xiaohei immediately became energetic. Dad, I won't participate in the rest of the matter. When you set off to find the mineral vein, remember to inform me. Okay. Thanks to you this time. Morong Hui said gratefully. Without her, he would have bled to death. Sima Yue smiled and walked out with Xiaohei. There was black blood everywhere outside, emitting a foul smell. Woof woof woof. It's really smelly. Woof woof woof. Well, I won't let you eat so many medicinal materials later. Woof woof woof. I know I won't let you eat so many medicinal materials next time. Alas, if little Seven was here, he would definitely not dislike it. Woof woof woof. There were still guards in the yard cleaning up the mess. When they heard the conversation between one person and one dog, they all glanced at her subconsciously. They all heard the conversation between Morong Lin and the second butler before. This time, thanks to her medical skills and strategies, the consequences would be unimaginable. Now, no one dared to despise this young lady anymore. In the next few days, Morong Hui has been dealing with the aftermath of this matter. He appeared in front of everyone safe and sound, and the dark clouds covering the Duke Manor completely dispersed. And because of Morong Hui's arrangement, except for the people of the Duke Manor, no one else knew that the Duke Manor had experienced such a dangerous thing, let alone that she had resolved this crisis. On this day, the regional king's manor welcomed an old man. It was Elder Fu, who had disappeared previously. When old Fu saw Morong Hui, he first apologized. Duke, I was actually let out of the city by someone. When you needed me the most, I was not in the city and let you fall into danger. I'm sorry, Duke. Morong Hui helped him up and said, You can't blame old Master Fu for this. You don't have to blame yourself. I heard that the B*TCH was poisoned and those doctors were helpless. I wonder who saved you in the end? Old Fu asked. The smile on Morong Hui's face was stiff for a moment, but it was fleeting and was not seen by old Master Fu. He smiled and said, Actually, I wasn't poisoned. That's just a false rumor. You weren't poisoned? Old Master Fu was stunned. Then why did you send someone to look for me? It's just that those external injuries looked very serious, so I wanted to ask old Master Fu to come and see me. Morong Hui explained. Those people must have sent the wrong message when they went to pass on the news. Otherwise, without old Master Fu, how could I live? You really weren't poisoned? Old Master Fu still didn't believe it. Yes. Morong Hui nodded affirmatively. Why, old Master Fu seems to care about my poisoning. I do care about it. Old Master Fu admitted. I heard about it when I returned to the city. I have been blaming myself for not being able to help the city lord. Now that I know you are not poisoned at all, I am relieved. Thank you for your concern, Old Master Fu. Since the Duke is fine, then I won't bother you anymore. After Old Master Fu said a few polite words, the guard sent him out. Murong Hui looked at Old Master Fu's eyes and gradually became cold, and said to Murong Lin on the side, "Send someone to check who he has been in contact with recently. In addition, send someone to follow him and pay close attention to his actions." "Yes, master." Murong Lin took the order and left. "Father, what is the origin of this Old Master Fu?" Sima Yue came out of another door and asked. Before Old Master Fu came, Sima Yue was discussing with Murong Hui about finding the mineral lode. When she heard that Old Master Fu came, she went inside and temporarily avoided him. She didn't expect to hear such a thing. Judging from what Old Master Fu said just now, his reaction to Murong Hui not being poisoned was too strange, which made people smell something abnormal. Old Master Fu used to be an imperial physician in the palace. For some reason he left the palace and went to Liao City. He is the teacher of the little prince, so his status is high. Even Wang Ye appreciated his medical skills, and others admired him even more. Murong Hui explained to her. "Is it the little prince who wants to kill father?" Sima Yue said. "No." Murong Hui said, "The little prince is Wang Ye's most valued child, and he has been determined to be the next Wang Ye. I am loyal to Wang Ye, so I have no conflict of interest with him." "So you're saying that someone else bribed Elder Fu in an attempt to cut you? A person who doesn't know what's good for him?" Sima Yu guessed. The prince has so many sons. Who is the most likely? "There are several possibilities," Murong Hui said. "As for who is the most suspicious, the one who is the most jealous of the throne is not necessarily the most suspicious." Sima Yu agreed. Some people usually seem to be low-key, but people say that dogs that bite don't bark. Who knows if they have done anything secretly? "Father, since this Old Master Fu is the little prince's teacher, you can't kill him directly. Otherwise, even if he is a traitor, it will leave a knot in the little prince's heart. When there is conclusive evidence, tell the little prince." Sima Yue suggested. Being betrayed. It was better to let him solve this matter himself. Murong Hui nodded. "I plan to do so too." "Then when are we going to find the mineral lode?" she asked. "Tomorrow after." "Father, if we find the mineral lode, let me open up the potential." "You? Well, I haven't seen the mineral lode of the ghost world yet, and I want to study it. If I can't do it, you can let the Seeker Spirit Master do it, okay?" Murong Hui was a little worried that she would mess up the potential and destroy the mineral lode, but he only hesitated for a few seconds before agreeing. "If you want to go, then go, but don't damage the mineral lode," he told her. "Thank you, father. Then I will go back and prepare." Sima Yue finished speaking and left happily. Murong Hui looked at her cheerful back and laughed. She said it as if she can really find the mineral lode. But why did he believe her? Chapter 1796. Early the next morning, Sima Yue packed up her things and ran over. Murong Hui saw her like this and looked at her dotingly. "Are you all ready?" "I don't have anything to prepare. I just need to go." "Father, are you all ready? If you are, we can set off," Sima Yue said with a smile. "Woof woof woof." Xiao He barked twice on the side, reminding her not to forget him. "I know. You this guy, if you don't obey me after going out, I won't take you out in the future, you know?" Sima Yue threatened. Since she found out that Xiao He couldn't force him to return to the Spirit Pagoda, she was particularly helpless. Fortunately, this guy's intelligence hasn't recovered much, and he didn't realize this, otherwise he would be even crazier. Thinking of Xiao He's identity, she sighed in her heart. Such a mighty guy, now it has become like this, it's also very miserable. But if people knew its identity, then the miserable person would probably be her. "It's ready, let's go." Murong Hui didn't know why Sima Yue would spoil this dog so much, but the spirit beasts around her should have special abilities. He heard that her spirit beasts in the human world were very powerful. Although he was intercepted halfway last time, he still didn't bring many people with him on this trip. The housekeeper Murong Lin stayed in the Duke's mansion to deal with things, so she was not familiar with the people who followed him. They left Vast City, although they were very low-key. many people still got the news. He was injured last time, but he still went out this time. Could it be that the news about the mineral veins was true? As a result, many people followed suit. When Emoji got the news, he was drinking tea with Yuan Yin in the tea house. What news made you look at it for so long? Yuan Yin asked. Murongxi. She followed Murong Hui out of the city. Emoji put the note on the table. Yuan Yin saw the words on the small note, and saw the 3 words Murongxi at once. What's so strange about her going out of the city? Yuan Yin took a sip of tea to make himself look more natural. Emoji glanced at him and said, she went to Moon Creek Valley. Moon Creek Valley? It's very dangerous there. Yuan Yin frowned. Well, it is very dangerous. But what? Murong Hui was killed when he came back from Moon Creek Valley. Now they are still looking in that direction. I don't know what will happen. Since you know the danger, why do you still want to go? Yuan Yan's eyes showed a trace of worry. Why would his father take her there? He's injured himself, and she doesn't have the strength. You are concerned about her safety. Emoji said affirmatively. No, I'm just curious. Yuan Yan said. Let's go to Moon Creek Valley too. Maybe we can find what I want there. Where do you think it is? Maybe. Yuan Yan said. We have been looking for it in the city for so long, but we haven't found it. It's time to look outside the city. You agreed. Then let's also go to Moon Creek Valley. Maybe we can even know what made Murong Hui so obsessed with that place. You're the young master of the Yuan family, and I'm only here to help you. If you want to go, then let's go. Let's go then. Soon after, the 2 of them left the tea house without bringing any guards with them. In the Dong family, Dong Qilian also received the news. You went to Moon Creek Valley? She looked at the person on the ground and asked. Yes. Moon Creek Valley, it's very dangerous there. Have you found out the source of that dog? This subordinate is incompetent. I can't find any news. The person kneeling on the ground lowered his head, not knowing what kind of punishment he would receive. If you can't find it, then forget it. Take someone there and be sure to keep her life in Moon Creek Valley for me. If you can't take her down, then leave yourself there too. Dong Qilian said viciously. Yes, miss. Go down. Dong Qilian waved her hand. Miss, there is one more thing. This subordinate found that the young master of the Yuan family also followed. What did you say? Dong Qilian looked at him in shock. Yuan Yan also went to Moon Creek Valley? Are you sure? When this subordinate came back, I saw him leaving in that direction with a person. As for whether he went to Moon Creek Valley, this subordinate is not sure. Dong Qilian was puzzled. This Moon Creek Valley is so dangerous. What is he doing there? I think I probably know why. Dong Qishuang came in from the outside and said, Sister, I just heard father and the others say that there may be mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley. There are mineral veins? How do you know? I just heard father and the others say that they are all rushing over now. I said I wanted to go, but he didn't take me. Dong Qishuang said, Sister, why don't we go and have a look? I heard that a lot of people have already rushed there. It must be very lively. Dong Qilian didn't speak. Dong Qishuang thought she was unwilling and pleaded, Sister, don't you like Yuan Yan? How do you know what he is going to do if you don't go? What if there is something? You go down first and do what I told you. She waved her hand, and the person on the ground got up and left. Sister, shall we go? Since you think so, let's go and have a look. But let's make it clear first, if you are not obedient when you go there, I will immediately send you back. Dong Qilian said. Sister, when did people stop talking? Okay, let's go, otherwise we won't be able to keep up with them. Dong Qishuang said anxiously. You little girl. Why are you in such a hurry? Although Dong Qilian was talking about her, her movements were not slow at all, and the 2 quickly left with the guards. Xiao family, Xiao Ruobai had just come out of seclusion, and went to share the news of her advancement with her grandfather. She heard that Sima Yue had gone to Moon Creek Valley, and the Xiao family also planned to send someone to take a look, so she immediately begged to take her there. Xiao family's patriarch couldn't resist her request and had to take her with him. The movement in vast city quickly reached Murong Hui's hands. Sima Yue looked at him from the side and asked curiously, Father, why do you want those people to know? It's time to clean up the forces in vast city. Moronghui said. Are you worried? I'm not worried. I think Father dares to do this, so naturally he is prepared. Sima Yue said. I'm just wondering if they will hinder our plan if they come here. There are no mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley at all. Moronghui said. When these people are solved, we will look for them again. Sima Yue was startled. Father, how do you know that there are no mineral veins in Moon Creek Valley? We have searched here several times but we haven't found it. So it shouldn't be here. Moronghui said. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. It turned out that his plan was based on this guess. Father, the mineral veins are indeed in Moon Creek Valley. I feel the aura of the mineral veins. Moronghui was stunned. Chapter 1797. The mineral lode is in Moon Creek Valley, are you sure? Moronghui asked. Sima Yue nodded. I feel it. It should be here. In fact, it was not she who felt it, but Mi-er felt it, but she couldn't expose him now, so she could only say it was herself. If what you said is true, then our previous plan will have to be changed. Moronghui did not doubt her words. You rest first, I'll discuss it with them. Sima Yue did not stop him, because in this way, their previous plan would be disrupted, and the mineral lode might be taken by others first. So Morong, she was still very happy with his unreserved trust. She wanted to tell Moronghui that without her, no one else could find the mineral lode, but he had already left quickly. Besides, this would expose Mi-er, so she didn't stop him in the end. A few days later, they came to Moon Creek Valley, and Sima Yue found that it was really a good place to set up a trap. Moon Creek Valley was dozens of kilometers long, with cliffs on both sides towering into the clouds, and mountains on both sides. If they set up a trap here, it was easy for people to be hooked. As soon as she saw the terrain, she thought of a way to set up a trap. She hurriedly ran to find Moronghui and told him about her ideas. Moronghui and the two aides around him looked at her in surprise. Why do you think this method is not feasible? Sima Yue looked at the three people and asked. She had tried this method many times, so it couldn't be used in the ghost realm, right? Miss said that the array is matched with poison. Your method is really good. But we don't have this condition now. One of the aides said. We don't have so many array stones, nor do we have the kind of poison you said. It doesn't matter, I have it all. Sima Yue laughed. As long as there was no problem with this method, it was fine. As for those things, they were all things she had prepared before, and she had also prepared a lot after arriving in the ghost realm. Everyone. Miss, why are you so full of deceptive things now? This made them, who were familiar with Morongshi, a little unacceptable. Since you have these, then let's do it. Morong said. They will catch up in half a day, can you finish it? No problem. Sima Yue said confidently. Setting up an illusion array was not as difficult as setting up the spirit gathering array before. She could still do it. Then I'll leave it to you. Father, I need a flying beast. In order to set up a large illusion array, she needed to observe the terrain from the air. Now that she couldn't fly, it was a little troublesome. Moronghui called out his flying beast and took Sima Yue into the air. That evening, the first batch of people arrived. Sima Yue was surprised to see them. How could it be them? She muttered. Who is the other person? Do you know them? Moronghui stood on the cliff with her and asked. I don't know who he is either, but we've met before. Sima Yue said. He recognized that I wasn't Morongshi. Does he know who you are? I don't think so. Sima Yue was not sure. But I can feel that this person is not simple. Well, looking at the two of them, Yuan Yen seems to be the leader. It shows that his status is higher than the Yuan family. Morong, seeing the two of them walking into the illusion array, said, the Yuan family is one of the top families in our dynasty, and they are also attached to Wangya. There are only two of them, so they should not be the ones we are waiting for. Should we let them out? No need. They will come out soon. Sima Yue looked at the two people in the valley and frowned slightly. What is the origin of this emoji? The moment Yuan Yen and emoji entered the array, they knew that they had fallen into a trap. This array is really powerful. Even I didn't find it until I entered the array. Emoji looked at the array with interest. Emoji, your attainments in array can be said to be the first in the dynasty. Even you didn't find it in advance. The person who arranged this array is really powerful. Yuan Yen sighed. I don't know who arranged this. It shouldn't be someone from the dynasty, right? No, I am familiar with the arrays of the few guys who are more powerful than me. This array was not arranged by them. Emoji said. As for who it is, we will know when we get out. The person who arranged the array must still be here. Once it is cracked, they will be able to see that person. Then he began to take Yuan Yen through the array, and came out of it in a few minutes. Seeing Sima Yue standing on the cliff, both of them were a little shocked. Bright eyes and white teeth, a slender figure, long hair, and a red dress fluttering in the wind. Her deep eyes attracted people's minds. Thank you for not breaking my array directly. Sima Yue spoke first. She could see from Emoji's steps that he could crack her array. At first, she was a little worried that he would destroy the array directly in a simple and crude way. She didn't expect that he just walked out of it with Yuan Yen. You didn't attack either. Emoji said. You have already shown your goodwill. How can I not know what's good for me? It's just that I didn't expect this array to be arranged by you. It really surprised me, Morongshi. He said the words Morongshi very lightly, and Sima Yue understood what he meant. Morongshi didn't like anything except beautiful men. How could she have such attainments in array? So, she was not Morongshi at all. However, he didn't intend to expose her now. Sima Yue smiled. Since you have already come out, please leave. Since we are already here, we have to watch a good show. Emoji pulled Yuan Yen and flew to the cliff on the other side. The position where they stood could also be blocked by the array, so that the people outside could not see them. After a while, someone came again, and the person who came this time did not surprise Morong Hui. It was not the Dong family, nor any other family but the Xiao family. Seeing them kneeling together, Sima Yue saw the heartache of being betrayed from Morong Hui's face. In the array, Xiao Ruabai looked at Grandpa and Xiao family members kneeling on the ground and said in surprise, Grandpa, what are you doing? Who is this person? Ruabai, this is the seventh prince. You still don't kneel down. Patriarch Xiao turned his head and shouted, Seventh prince? Why is he here? Xiao Ruabai pouted and knelt down. The Xiao family can't even do such a small thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to do it myself. Do it. Xiao Ruabai was still puzzled. Suddenly, she thought of Morong Hui being seriously injured here, and exclaimed, Grandpa, did you do it to the Duke? Chapter 1798. Sima Yue sighed. Why did things turn out this way? The Xiao family was obviously instigated by the seventh prince during the period when Xiao Ruabai was not at home. Xiao Ruabai obviously didn't know that they had changed. With her temperament, it would not be easy for her to accept these things. Grandfather, tell me the regional prince's injury has nothing to do with you, right? Xiao Ruabai looked at the patriarch of the Xiao family. Seeing that he had no intention of denying it, her eyes showed pain as she murmured, Why? Ruabai, don't ask anything. We naturally have our reasons for doing so. Patriarch Xiao said, All right, I won't ask about this. I'll only ask you one question. When you asked me to go to the Duke's mansion to find Shi-er, did you want me to investigate? You used me? Xiao Ruabai's eyes were filled with tears. Grandpa once said that he would never use me and let me be the carefree princess of the Xiao family. Grandfather, Ruabai ultimately lost to the clan's interests, right? Ruabai. Xiao family head saw that her reaction was so intense and felt very distressed. After all, he had doted on her since she was young. She took a step back and her gaze gradually turned cold. Grandfather, the seventh prince is still here. You should talk to the seventh prince first. If he blames us, our Xiao clan won't be able to bear the consequences. Seventh prince. Patriarch Xiao and the others raised their heads, but the seventh prince was nowhere to be seen. Master, the seventh prince is missing? Patriarch Xiao also realized that something was wrong. The seventh prince, who was in front of him just now, had disappeared without a trace. We've entered an illusion array. He looked around. The surrounding scenery had not changed, but when he looked carefully, he realized that something was wrong. How did you enter the illusion array? Who set up the illusion here? Everyone cried out in alarm. They actually didn't sense anything when they came in. This illusion array was too powerful. Looks like we've been tricked. Patriarch Xiao said. It's just that I don't know if this is to lure us out or if it's specially set up to target us. Why are you here? The head of the Dong family came in with the Dong family's people. He was surprised to see the people in the valley. There was clearly no one there just now. There is an illusion array here. We are trapped in it. Family head Xiao said. An illusory spell? Only then did the members of the Dong family notice that something was wrong with the scenery here. However, before they could break this array formation, another person walked in. Slowly there were more and more people in Moon Creek Valley. On the cliff, Emoji looked at the situation below and exclaimed, "This formation is far beyond my expectations. Even I may not be able to arrange such a formation. It seems that she was the one who let me walk out just now." Is this array very powerful? Yuanyan didn't understand arrays, but he knew how powerful the person around him was, and even he couldn't stop praising him. Then this array was really powerful. This formation looks very simple at first glance, but it's much bigger than an ordinary illusion formation. Even though so many people had entered, they did not show any signs of collapsing. If it was someone else's illusion array, it would have collapsed long ago. Emoji explained. Moreover, this array is not that simple. There's a secret behind it. What else? You'll know if you keep watching. Emoji didn't say anything and looked at Sima Yue with interest. No wonder the old ancestor said that it would not be boring to take on this matter. It was really true. But this lass was so defensive. It wouldn't be easy to gain her trust. However, it's interesting to do such a thing, isn't it? He murmured. In the canyon, those people looked at each other with a dazed expression. Who arranged the illusion array? This illusion array trapped us all here. Does it want to kill us all? This is just an illusion array. Just let him break it. Why worry so much? Patriarch Xiao, Patriarch Dong, you came here the earliest. Do you have a way to crack this array? Not yet. We just arrived. Patriarch Dong said. Let's attack together. This illusion array should not be able to withstand so much power from us. Patriarch Xiao said. That's right. As long as the spiritual power exceeds the endurance of the illusion array, it can naturally be cracked. However, when they use their spiritual power, their faces changed drastically. Why can't I use my spiritual power? This shouldn't be an illusion too, right? Some illusion arrays will also make people lose their spiritual power. It shouldn't be. Patriarch Xiao mobilized his spiritual power. Although it was a little sluggish, he could still move. We should be poisoned. Poisoned? Yes. We are poisoned. Patriarch Dong also echoed. You can actually poison the illusion array. This. Yuanyan looked at the calm Sima Yue, without pride or complacency, as if this was not arranged by her at all. If she wasn't standing at the place where the array was opened, it would be hard for them to believe that she was the one manipulating all this behind the scenes. Sure, it's okay. It's almost time to come. Moronghui said. Yes, father. Sima Yue closed the array. Although the surrounding scenery did not change, the people in the array felt the fluctuations of spiritual power. They looked up and saw the 4 people standing on both sides. Duke. Those people were surprised to see Moronghui. How could it be him? They heard that he was going to clean up the strength of Vast City recently. Could it be that he wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop? Shall family members stay, the others leave immediately? Moronghui said. As soon as his voice fell, hundreds of guards came out from inside and outside the canyon, blocking the front and back roads. Others leave, shall family members stay? The guards said in unison, and the loud voice echoed in the canyon several times before gradually dissipating. Everyone looked at each other, and they were puzzled. Was the Duke going to deal with the Xiao family? But wasn't the Xiao family his people? Did they betray him? However, doubts were doubts. They quickly withdrew from the canyon through the passage left by the guards. The Xiao family also wanted to leave, but the guards were staring at them. making them unable to take a step. After those people retreated, they did not go far, but stopped in a wide place to pay attention to the situation here. In the canyon, Moronghui and Patriarch Xiao looked at each other. Moronghui no longer had the trust of the past, and Patriarch Xiao no longer had the respect of the past. Patriarch Xiao, have I ever treated you badly? In the end, it was Moronghui who spoke first. A fine bird chooses a tree to nest in. I am just seeking a better way for myself. Although the Duke has treated me well, Vast City is too poor to give us the way out we want. Patriarch Xiao said with conviction, and there was no regret on his face. When Sima Yue heard his words, she really wanted to say that he was self-aware and knew that he was a beast. However, when she saw Xiao Ruobai beside him, she swallowed these words back. Chapter 1799. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Reads Book Web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Moronghui heard Patriarch Zhao's words and didn't ask any more questions. Everything was already clear. Sima Yue didn't have a deep feeling about these things. After all, she hadn't been here for long. Except for Xiao Ruobai, she had nothing to do with these people and didn't know about their feelings. Seeing all this, she felt that she was still an outsider. However, seeing Xiao Ruobai in so much pain, she also felt sad for her. Father Ruobai doesn't know about this. Can you? She opened her mouth, not knowing whether this was good for Xiao Ruobai. Since Xiao family had betrayed Moronghui, he would definitely not leave them behind. At that time, Xiao Ruobai would face the pain of extermination alone. For her, it was no better than death. When Xiao Ruobai heard Sima Yue pleading for her, she looked up at her and moved her lips, but still didn't say anything. The friendship between her and her could only go so far. She rarely recognized a person, so she rarely had real friends. She didn't expect to finally meet someone she liked, but it couldn't last long. She pleaded for her and wanted her to live. However, she didn't want to accept it. She moved closer to Grandpa to show her position. No matter what the result was today, she would live and die with Xiao family. Patriarch Xiao looked at Xiao Ruobai with a trace of regret in his eyes. I've implicated you, child. Grandpa, no matter what, you are my grandpa. Although Xiao Ruobai was not happy that he used her, at this moment, she was still a member of Xiao family. Patriarch Xiao patted Xiao Ruobai's head lovingly. Moronghui dotes on his daughter very much. Since she pleaded for you, you should leave. This is the choice of our Xiao family. You can't blame others. You have to live well and don't think about revenge for us. Even if she were to survive today, it would be impossible for her to overthrow a regional king. The tears in Xiao Ruobai's eyes burst out. She grabbed Patriarch Zhao's hand and kept shaking her head. No, I want to be with you. Silly child. Patriarch Xiao sighed and didn't say anything more. On the cliff Mu? A-class equals __cf email ref equals /cdncgi/l/email protection. Email protected, waved his hand, and the guards on both sides immediately rushed towards the Xiao family. The members of the Xiao family were poisoned and could not use their spiritual energy, but they did not admit defeat immediately. They held their weapons and resisted. One by one, the members of the Xiao family fell down. Xiao Ruobai looked at the corpses on the ground. Her eyes were red, and tears fell, washing out tears on her bloody face. Sima Yue felt a twinge of pain in her heart when she saw how devastated she was. It was as if she had seen herself in the past. She really didn't know that the person who betrayed Moronghui would be the Xiao family, nor did she know that Xiao Ruobai would come with them. If she had known that she would face such a situation, she would not have chosen this method. However, what was done, and she could not change anything. Seeing that someone was behind Xiao Ruobai and was about to cut down with a knife, she subconsciously made a move and knocked the man's knife down. Don't kill her. Sima Yue looked at Xiao Ruobai and shouted to the guard. As soon as she made a move, the whole scene suddenly quieted down, and there were not many members of the Xiao family left. Only Xiao Ruobai, Patriarch Xiao, and a few guards were still standing. The guard looked at Moronghui, waiting for him to make a decision. Moronghui thought for a while and said, Let Xiao Ruabai go. As for the rest, kill them all. Duke, if you don't remove the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. An aide disagreed. At this time, they should all be killed. Sima Yue also understood this truth, but she still couldn't do anything to the innocent Xiao Ruabai. Even if you save me today, I will not remember your kindness. Xiao Ruabai looked at Sima Yue with a complicated gaze. Our friendship ends today, so you don't have to plead for me. I know. Whether you want to hate me or take revenge, you have to survive first. Sima Yue said. I am a member of the Xiao family. I live with the Xiao family and die with the Xiao family. You don't have to worry about me anymore. Xiao Ruabai stopped looking at Sima Yue and lowered her head to hide the pain in her eyes. Go. Under Morong Hui's order, the guards rushed up again. The Xiao family had no way to resist, and soon only Patriarch Xiao and Xiao Ruabai were left. Patriarch Xiao could still use some of his spiritual power, and no one dared to kill Xiao Ruabai, so they all avoided her. At this moment, several men in black quickly flew over and killed all the people who attacked Xiao Ruabai. One of them grabbed Xiao Ruabai and pushed her to another man in black, saying, "Take her away first." The sudden appearance of the men in black surprised everyone. Their goal this time was very clear: Xiao Ruabai. Xiao Ruabai was caught and pulled out of the encirclement. She couldn't break free and could only look back at Patriarch Xiao, but she just happened to see him being stabbed in the heart from behind. Grandpa. She wanted to struggle, but it was in vain. The people who caught her did not give her a chance at all. Who are you? Let go of me. I'm going to find my grandpa. My grandpa is still inside. Let go of me. Ah. The man felt that she was too much of a hindrance, so he directly knocked her out, carried her on his shoulder, and continued to break out. Who are you? Morong Hui saw that the men in black were very strong, so he flew down and fought with them personally. The other party did not speak, and their hands did not stop moving. Everyone had only one goal, and that was to break out. Sima Yue watched from above, and saw that the man carrying Xiao Ruabai had been protecting her safety. Seeing that someone was going to hurt Xiao Ruabai, he turned his body and let her avoid, but he was injured. Her eyes narrowed slightly. These people really came to save Xiao Ruabai. Although Morong Hui pulled one person, they finally escaped after paying the price of a few masters. Duke, do you want to chase? Morong Hui looked at the speed of those people leaving and said, No need. Sima Yue originally wanted to spare Xiao Ruabai's life. These people were so powerful it didn't make sense to chase. Sima Yue breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Xiao Ruabai's figure in a daze. Since he was willing to protect you with his life, he should be able to protect you as well. Check and see if you can know the identity of these people. Morong Hui ordered. However, there was nothing on these people to identify themselves. Sima Yue frowned slightly when she heard the result. If she didn't know the identity of these people, then she would lose Xiao Ruabai's whereabouts. These people are the 7th Prince's people. Emoji suddenly said. Sima Yue turned to look at him, and the two looked at each other across the valley. Are you sure? I have seen his people before. Emoji didn't say much, but this was enough to explain the identity of these people. The 7th Prince. Sima Yue's eyebrows were tightly knitted together, and the worry in her eyes increased. The 7th Prince used the Xiao family. Now that the Xiao family was gone, would Ruabai be okay in his hands? Chapter 1800. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Reads book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue watched the men in black take Xiao Ruabai away. Even if she was worried, she felt that it was better this way. Now that she was facing Xiao Ruabai, she definitely couldn't accept herself. Although she had a clear conscience, she also felt sorry for her. Besides, since those people protected her with their lives, it means that the 7th Prince will not take her life. Without the protection of her family, having someone with her, at least she can have someone to rely on. Emoji kept looking at her, seeing that she was actually worried about a woman who was about to become her enemy. He inexplicably felt that she was a little silly and cute. Duke, how should we deal with these people? According to the past practice, This kind of person was burned directly. But looking at the relationship between Sima Yue and Xiao Ruabai, they were a little uncertain. Muronghui glanced at Sima Yue on the cliff, saw her looking at him expectantly and ordered, "Bury them on the spot." Yes. Sima Yue smiled gratefully. Those onlookers were shocked when they saw Muronghui destroy one of the top forces in Vast City. They always thought that he had gone to Eternal Brilliance City for so many years and had no control over this place. They didn't expect that he would do this to them shortly after he came back. It seems that they have to change their relationship with the Duke in the future. Sima Yue didn't want to see those people deal with the bodies of the Xiao family members. She greeted Muronghui and withdrew from the cliff, preparing to look for the mineral veins. Mi-Er said that the surface here was very similar to the snowfield, covering the aura of the mineral veins. If it weren't for him, it would be difficult for others to find it. In his original words, if others found it, it was definitely smoke from the ancestral grave, making him accidentally dig the ore below. Yuanyan saw her leaving alone and frowned disapprovingly. Moon Creek Valley is so dangerous. Why did she leave alone? Are you worried about her? Emoji asked. Yuanyan wanted to say no, but he felt that his performance just now was very unconvincing. I'm just grateful to her for letting me have an epiphany, break through the bottleneck, and successfully advance. Since you are worried, let's go and have a look. After Emoji finished speaking, he took the lead and flew to the opposite side. Yuanyan was stunned for a moment and also flew over. Sima Yue sensed movement behind her and turned around to see the two people flying towards her. She stopped and looked at them helplessly. Where are you going? She hoped that it wasn't what she was thinking. Yuanyan said that he wanted to thank you for letting him have an epiphany and advance. Seeing you leave alone, he said that he would protect you for 2 days. Emoji said. Protect me? Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she rejected. Thank you for your kind intentions, but my father will send someone to follow me. I don't need your protection. I don't like to be with strangers. Goodbye. After saying that, she turned around and left, leaving the two of them with a carefree back view. Emoji gave her a dangerous feeling, so it was better not to come into contact with him. Moreover, it would be too inconvenient for these two outsiders to be around. After a while, Muronghui caught up. In order to narrow the target, he only brought a dozen guards, and the rest returned to Liao City to help Moronglin deal with the Xiao family. Sima Yue took them to the depths of Moon Creek Valley. They encountered several groups of underworld beasts on the way, and were all killed by the guards. Xie, are you sure it's here? Muronghui asked when he saw her getting deeper and deeper. The underworld beasts inside were getting more and more powerful. If they went deeper, they would be in danger. Sima Yue knew his scruples and said, It's not far from here. It's probably a few thousand kilometers away. A few thousand kilometers, fortunately, it's not counted as entering the inner region. If we are lucky, we won't encounter any particularly strong spirit beasts. Muronghui estimated the distance in his heart and relaxed a little. However, they were still happy too early. Not long after these words were spoken, they were surrounded by a group of underworld beasts. Underworld-ine wolf. Why are there so many underworld-ine wolves here? The guards all shouted. Sima Yue looked at Muronghui's face and said, Is this kind of underworld beast difficult to deal with? One underworld-ine wolf is easier to deal with, but this kind of wolf is generally a social animal. Muronghui explained. Sima Yue looked at the underworld-ine wolves surrounding them. There were at least 50 or 60 of them. They only had a dozen people, so it was indeed more troublesome to deal with them. Duke, in a while we will kill our way out. You and Miss leave first. The leader of the guards said. Muronghui didn't agree, but he didn't say no. If it was just him, he would definitely fight with everyone. But today, with Sima Yue here, he must consider her safety. Sima Yue sat on Little Black's back. Little Black saw the underworld-ine wolves and was not worried at all. He even bared his teeth at them to provoke them. She patted Little Black's back, comforted him not to act rashly, and then called Little Purple out. I'm sleeping. Why did you wake me up? Little Z was not happy. She had a temper when she woke up. I don't want to, but look at these. How can I not call you out? Sima Yue touched Little Purple's head and smiled unscrupulously. You are too weak now. Hurry up and improve your strength. Otherwise, you will have to find me if something happens in the future. Little Purple licked his claws unhappily, and then waved at the underworld wolves. Crackle. A series of lightning flew out from his claws and directly hit the underworld wolves. Those underworld wolves couldn't dodge in time, and were all turned into black charcoal. Just you dregs. Little Purple blew his claws and said disdainfully. The guards were stunned. She actually had such a powerful underworld beast. The remaining underworld wolves looked at their companions who were killed in an instant, and there was deep fear in their eyes. Do you want to die? Little Purple squinted at the underworld wolves, and the threat in his eyes was very strong. Those underworld wolves stared at Little Purple, slowly retreated, and then ran away without looking back. The guards were dumbfounded. It was so easy to solve it. So weak. Little Purple jumped into Sima Yue's arms. In order not to be interrupted, it would not go back for the time being. Moronghui recovered first, and the gaze he looked at Little Purple changed again and again. He knew Little Purple's identity, but it was the first time he saw it deal with an underworld beast. Even he was shocked by its fighting power. Dad, we can continue. Sima Yue said. Well, let's go. Moronghui nodded and continued to move forward with the guards. After they left for a while, two figures fell beside the bodies of the underworld wolves. I didn't expect her to have such a powerful underworld beast around her. No wonder she dared to come to Moon Creek Valley. Yuan Yen checked the underworld wolves. As soon as he touched their bodies, he was electrocuted by the remaining lightning in his body. If he hadn't pulled it out quickly, his entire arm would have been crippled. Chapter 1801. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Reads book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Yuan Yin looked at his blackened arm, grimaced, and quickly took out a medicinal pill to eat. What a powerful lightning. He sighed. Emoji. What kind of beast was that just now? I haven't seen it either. It's not recorded in the book. Emoji said, but I think it shouldn't be a beast from the ghost realm. There are no lightning-attributed beasts in the ghost realm. Not from the ghost realm? Then where did she contract it from? Yuan Yin said in shock. Maybe it's from outside, or Moronghui got it for her from somewhere. Emoji knew that this must be brought by Sima Yue from the human world, but he did not say her identity. The underworld dog beside her is not an ordinary underworld dog. It seems that this Moronghui has experienced some things during the time she left Vast City. Yuan Yen said. Could it be that these experiences have changed her temperament? Maybe. Emoji replied. In that case, we don't have to worry about her safety. Aren't you looking for black Ganoderma? Since we are here, let's look for it. Okay. From the canyon to here, they have been following from a distance. When they saw so many underworld wolves just now, they almost came out. Now that they know that she has such a powerful spirit beast, they can do their own things. Sima Yue took Moronghui into the inner edge of Moon Creek Valley, and came to an inconspicuous hill. Father, it's here. She pointed to the hill and said. Is there a mineral vein here? The Seeker Spirit Master who followed didn't believe it. This hill doesn't have any characteristics of a mineral vein. How can it be a mineral vein? This stone skin is different from the ordinary stone skin, so people can't see that this is a mineral vein. But as long as you dig down for tens of meters, you will find the ore below. Sima Yue said affirmatively. If it's really a mineral vein, such a small mountain, there shouldn't be much ore, right? Not only this hill, but also this stretch for tens of thousands of kilometers. It's just that they are all hidden underground. Sima Yue said. If you don't believe me, you can follow this direction for 10,000 kilometers and see if it's true. However, that place is already in the depths of the inner region. Be careful. Everyone. Since you know that it's in the depths of the inner region, how could they possibly go in to investigate? Inform the butler, tell him that the mineral lode has been found, and ask him to send someone over. Moronghui ordered. Yes, Your Highness. That person accepted the order and left. In his heart, he thought that the prince was still so doting towards the young miss, and did not doubt her words at all. If there were no Orvanes here, then wouldn't their trip be in vain? It would also alarm the other clans and bring some trouble to the regional king's manor. Sima Yue watched the man leave. A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L email protection. Datic female equals 61pc21 AAD4. Email protected. Father, you promised to let me open the momentum. Father still remembers. Go ahead. A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L email protection. Datic female equals B5683AF57E00. Email protected. The Seeker Spirit Master on the side wanted to stop him, but he was stared back by Morong Hui. Thank you, Father. Sima Yue hugged little Z, sat on little Black's back, and ran up the hill alone. Your Highness, the young miss is so young. She doesn't know much about the Seeker Spirit Master. If we really let her open the momentum, will she? The Seeker Spirit Master said worriedly. I know what I'm doing. A class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L email protection. Datic female equals 2AF7A56AE19F. Email protected. The Seeker Spirit Master still wanted to say something, but he was pulled away by Morong Hui's aides. The young miss is the prince's treasure. Not to mention giving her a mineral lode to play with. Even if she was given the whole county manor to play with, he wouldn't feel distressed. You fool actually went to touch the prince's reverse scale. You're really stupid. Sima Yue came to the back of the hill, and made sure that they couldn't see, then she called me air out. I'll leave the rest to you. She said, you have to take it easy. Don't damage this mineral lode. It's very important to Father. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Mi Air turned into her appearance, then drove her into the spirit pagoda, and began to open the momentum himself. Sima Yue knew that it was very easy for him to open the momentum. After entering the spirit pagoda, she didn't pay attention to the outside world, and went to see the beasts that were still sleeping. Because the spirit pagoda had been repaired, the beasts looked much better now, and their hair was glossy. She approached them and felt that their breaths were also recovering quickly. It wouldn't be long before they woke up one after another. She walked over, leaned her head on Little Dream's head, and gently stroked her face. When will you wake up? Although Father is very good to me, and Little Black and the rest are with me, I still feel that I haven't integrated into this place. I still miss you guys. You. The ethereal call made her body tremble. Little Dream? Little Dream, is that you? Have you woken up? Sima Yue let go of Little Dream and stared at her nervously. Seeing Little Dream slowly open her eyes, her tears flowed down silently. You. Little Dream stuck out her tongue to lick the tears on her face. Little Dream, you're awake. You're really awake. Sima Yue hugged Little Dream excitedly. Little Dream turned into a human and hugged Sima Yue. She patted her back gently and said, Yes, I'm awake. You won't be alone anymore. I'm sorry, it's all my fault that you guys fell asleep. Sima Yue couldn't suppress the self-blame in her heart anymore, hugging Little Dream and crying nonstop. It's okay, Yu. We don't blame you. If you're like this, everyone will be worried about you even in their sleep. Little Dream comforted. Although we didn't wake up, we can still feel that you've been very unhappy recently. Even if you're smiling, you're not happy for a moment. Your heart has been immersed in sorrow. Yu, we all feel sorry for you. Sima Yue also knew that she had been unhappy. Ever since she woke up and saw the sleeping beasts, she was immersed in self-blame. So she couldn't integrate into the life here, so she cultivated desperately. This was not only to save her mother, but also to let the beasts wake up earlier. Originally, she had been suppressing this self-blame, but now that Little Dream had woken up, it was brought out. Yu, everyone loves you. We want to see you happy. Little Dream said, We've seen your hard work. You really don't have to blame yourself. I'll be with you. Yes. Sima Yue blushed slightly when she was comforted by the beasts. Actually, you don't have to worry too much about everyone. I've already woken up, so they should be waking up soon. Little Dream continued to comfort her. Before she woke up, they felt her condition and were really too worried. Fortunately, she woke up and could guide her. Speaking of which, why did you wake up before them? Sima Yue wiped her tears and tried to calm herself down. Little Dream wasn't the strongest one, but why did she wake up first? Chapter 1802. Maybe it has something to do with the thing in my heart. Little Dream said uncertainly. Since that thing can keep me alive, maybe it has other uses. She reached out and touched her chest, her expression complicated. No matter what the reason is, it's good that you're awake. Sima Yue patted her shoulder. Yes. They'll wake up soon too. Little Dream smiled. If they know that I'm the first to wake up to accompany you, they'll definitely be jealous of me. Little Black and me Air are here too. Those two fellows don't count. Little Dream pouted. One just arrived not long ago. The other's intelligence is not complete, they don't count. Anyway, I'm the first. It's a pity that Thousand Resonance and Little Roar aren't here. I wonder how they're doing now. Sima Yue thought of those two fellows, and was a little worried. They stayed in your body, and didn't come to the ghost realm with us. When we return to the human realm, we'll be able to see them. Although Little Dream missed Little Roar very much, but seeing Sima Yue like this, she still comforted her. Yes, I must cultivate properly, and fight for everyone to wake up earlier, and reunite earlier. Sima Yue looked at the living area. Her father, and Lei and those Bird Clan elders were still inside. I'll go outside to accompany you. Little Dream pulled Sima Yue's hand. All right. Sima Yue nodded. She needed her company now too. As for other people being curious about Little Dream's identity, that was no longer within her consideration. After Mier settled the matters outside, and called Sima Yue out, she and Little Dream had already talked for a long time, and her mood had already calmed down. Mier saw that her spirit was different, and pouted, unhappy that he couldn't make her happy. Sima Yue touched his shoulder saying, You and Little Black are also very important, but there are some psychological problems that need to be dealt with. Forget it, I won't argue with you about this. When Little Dream wakes up, you'll have one more person to protect you. How's your recovery? About 70 to 80%. If there's a chance in the future, get me more. Mier said. That's good. Someone's coming. Little Dream reminded. Sima Yue kept Mier. Mier returned to the back of her hand, and turned into a blood-red flower. It was enchanting. Morong Hui and the others climbed over the hillside, and saw Sima Yue standing in the valley with Little Z in her arms. On one side was Little Black, and on the other side was a little girl they had never seen before. Dad. Sima Yue walked over with Little Z in her arms. Why are you here? Didn't you say so? Morong Hui said doubtfully. Sima Yue was slightly startled. She smiled and said, Yes, it's done. Now you can open the mountain. Morong Hui asked those people to open the mine to determine if there was really a mineral vein below. After those people left, he asked, This is my contracted beast Little Dream. Sima Yue said, She's a dark type spirit beast, so she woke up faster. Morong Hui looked at Little Dream, and wanted to see what kind of spirit beast she was, but he couldn't see it at all. He was astonished and marveled inwardly. Even he couldn't see the spirit beast, which meant that she was very strong, and her race should be relatively rare. At least he hadn't seen it before. Thank you for protecting Yu. Little Dream nodded lightly to him to express her gratitude. Since she recovered her memory, her whole person had become cold. Except for Little Roar and Sima Yue. Others rarely saw her smile and received her gentle treatment. She's the one who helped me. Morong Hui said politely. Duke. We really dug the ore. The cheers of the Seeker Spirit Master came from over there. Morong Hui's face was overjoyed, and he quickly rushed over. Seeing the real ore, he was also excited with everyone. With this, the strength of the Duke Manor could be improved a lot. Duke, from the stone skin of these ores, it seems that they are all old mineral veins. and the things inside should be more precious. If it's really as Miss said, it's tens of thousands of kilometers, then this is a priceless treasure. The Seeker Spirit Master held the ore that had just been opened and was very excited. Duke, the crystal stones have been opened. The miners ran over with some crystal stones. Duke, the lowest crystal stones we opened are middle grade, and there are many high-grade ones. The grade of this mineral vein is really good. We've just started mining, and there are already high-grade crystal stones. My vast region won't have to worry about it for the next few years. Morong Hui said with emotion. He didn't expect that there would be such a good mineral vein so close to Vast City. If it weren't for Sima Yue, they wouldn't have found it. Duke, we can't continue mining now. If we mine too much, the spiritual power will attract others. The Seeker Spirit Master said. Wait for the guards to come and then continue mining. Now everyone stay here first. Morong Hui ordered. Sima Yue watched them excitedly cover the ground back, and their faces were full of smiles, and she also smiled. Mu Qiqi had been restrained by something, but now, her heart was soaring. Sima Yue walked over and said, Father, you stay here, I'll go look around. This mineral vein is definitely not the mineral vein that those people found, but since they will throw out such news, maybe there are other mineral veins around. I'll go with you, Morong Hui said. No need. Father still needs to preside over the overall situation here. I have little Z and little Meng, so I'll be fine, Sima Yue said. Morong Hui looked at little Z in her arms and didn't insist. He had seen little Z's power. Even if they encountered the inner underworld beasts, they might not be able to get close to them. Sima Yue left and walked towards the depths of Moon Creek Valley. In fact, there were no mineral veins here, otherwise Mi-Er would be the first to sense it. She just wanted to see if there were any good medicinal materials here that could be used as snacks for Little Black to eat. Although it didn't want to eat. Moreover, she could solve some unnecessary problems on the way. After walking for a long time, she stopped and said, I'm so hungry, let's get something to eat. Little Black, go and catch a nether beast. Little Black knew how to eat, so it ran away like lightning, and soon ran back with a nether beast in its mouth, put it on the ground, and barked twice at Sima Yue, as if it was asking for credit. Sima Yue touched its head and praised, Little Black is so capable. It ran away happily. After running a few laps, it ran back and stayed by her side, watching her skillfully cut open the stomach of the nether beast, wash it and put it in the pot. Well, I'll start now, and it should be almost cooked when the matter is solved. She closed the lid. I say, you've been following me all the way, aren't you going to come out? Chapter 1803. The men in black hiding in the dark were all startled. They had always thought that they had hidden very well, but they did not expect to be discovered. They looked at the place where Sima Yue was. The terrain was wide and suitable for battle. Could it be that she had specially chosen this place? Still not coming out? As soon as Sima Yue's voice fell, a wave of spirit energy attacked the place where they were hiding. Although her strength was very weak, it still hurt when it hit them, right? Thus, they left the place and exposed themselves. Sima Yue sized up these people and said, The Dong family? Dong Qilian and Dong Qishuang sent you to kill me? She had not come into contact with many people after coming here. The only people who wanted to kill her were the Dong sisters. Since you know, then obediently hand over your life. The men in black did not waste any more words. Two of them directly attacked her. You're courting death. Little Meng stepped forward and condensed spirit energy, turning it into two whips. She wrapped the two of them and with a strong swing, the two of them were thrown far away. Puffed! The two of them spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground without any signs of life. So strong. The men in black looked at Little Meng and became vigilant. They did not expect that other than the dog by her side, there was such a powerful person. They estimated each other's strength in their hearts, and felt that they might not be able to defeat her. They all wanted to retreat. Want to escape? Little Meng shouted coldly, and then lightly hummed. Sound waves spread out from her mouth. The men in black who were retreating paused. Then they all hugged their heads and rolled back and forth on the ground. They were in great pain. Little Meng stopped humming and coldly looked at the people rolling on the ground. With your little strength, you dare to kill my Yu. She condensed spirit energy and turned it into swords. She flew towards those people and slashed their throats. Every one of them had a pained expression on their faces when they died. Even death did not seem to be able to release them. Sima Yue watched Little Meng deal with them cleanly and sighed. Our Little Meng is so powerful. It's not that I'm powerful, it's that your strength is too weak. They only sent some trash to kill you. Little Meng said honestly. Sima Yue. What happened to the love from before? How could he stab him in the back at this time? They looked like they were in pain. What did you do to them? Sima Yue asked curiously. It's nothing much. It's just making them hallucinate. Little Dream said. As for what kind of hallucination it was, she didn't need to say much. Yue could already guess. It was definitely not something good. Seeing the expressions of those people, she shrank her neck and silently lit a candle for those who had provoked Xiaomeng. Although Xiaomeng was usually the quietest when she was with Little Seven and Hua Hua, when she really got angry, her explosive power was not inferior to Little Seven's. Yu, are the things ready? Will it burn? Xiaomeng came to the side of the pot and called out when she saw that she was still standing there. How can it be burnt so easily? Sima Yue walked over. It's not cooked yet. Who asked you to move so quickly, taking care of all of them in just a few moves? It'll take a while to cook. I haven't eaten the food you made for a long time. Xiaomeng pouted. When she faced her, she was still a little like before. I'll make more for you today. Sima Yue smiled and took out some ingredients to make Xiaomeng's favorite food. Woof woof woof. Little Black barked at the side, reminding her not to forget about it. Go and eat the medicinal herbs. Xiaomeng grabbed Little Black's neck and threw it out. Little Black ran back, feeling wronged. It barked a few times at Xiaomeng, indicating that it was the one who had brought back the underworld beast. Puffed. Sima Yue looked at Little Black and Xiaomeng and couldn't help but laugh. No matter when, the beasts got along with each other so lovingly. Little Purple narrowed its eyes at the side and looked at Xiaomeng and the others. It said in disdain. Childish. This is not childish. This is the way they get along. Sima Yue explained to it. You didn't get along with them much before. You'll know slowly in the future. I'm the noble top-grade Purple Thunder. I won't do such a childish thing. Little Purple raised its chin proudly, its face full of disdain. Is that so? Sima Yue grabbed its 2 ears and hung it up. Noble top-grade Purple Thunder. Why did you come into my body? Well, now you're tied to me. If it weren't for Qi Yan's despicable means, how could I be caught by you? Little Purple talked about its dark history and felt very stifled. No matter how we did it, you're caught by us now. Sima Yue flicked its head with her finger. Little Purple stretched out its claws to grab her, but she cleverly avoided it. Good, I'll make you delicious food. Sima Yue put it down, touched its head and said, well, for the sake of the delicious food, it won't argue with her for the time being. Sima Yue looked at it pretending to be calm when it was obviously hungry, and smiled. Soon, she prepared a large table of food. Little Purple was the first to jump on the table, and began to eat. Little Meng, who was playing with Little Black, threw Little Black aside, sat at the table and began to eat. Although Little Black was thrown out, it ran back in the blink of an eye and sat right next to Sima Yue. Mi-air had come out from her hand, and sat next to Little Meng, and began to eat. Sima Yue didn't eat much. Most of the time, she watched Little Meng eat. Since they fell into a deep sleep, even the thought of cooking for them was extravagant. After the beasts finished eating, Sima Yue took them on the road. She threw Little Purple on Little Black. The cat and dog caught each other along the way. It was very lively. Yu, there are fighting sounds in front. Little Meng was a spiritual beast with strong spiritual power, and was much more sensitive to the surrounding situation. When Sima Yue was hesitating whether to join in the fun or not, those people didn't give her time to think. A group of underworld wolves chased after a group of people. The people running in front were the 2 young ladies of the Dong family, followed by more than a dozen guards. The underworld wolves behind were those who were scared away by Little Purple. Sister, I can't run anymore. Why are these underworld wolves still chasing us? Dong Qishuang was so tired that she was out of breath, and her running speed was getting slower and slower. If it weren't for the underworld wolves chasing after her, she would have been paralyzed. If you don't want to die here, don't stop. Dong Qilian turned back and shouted. Seeing the underworld wolves chasing after them, her face darkened. Sima Yue looked at the people running over and the underworld wolves, and was happy. They were all acquaintances. Should she go and say hello? Chapter 1804. The first to notice them were the underworld wolves that were running in front. They suddenly stopped and those behind did not have time to react and all of them bumped into them. Dong Qilian and the others had been paying attention to the situation behind them, and were surprised when they saw the underworld wolves stop. Then they saw Sima Yue standing in front of them. Why are you here? Why aren't you dead yet? Dong Qishuang shouted. Sima Yue shrugged. Are you so surprised to see me? You want to kill me with just the people you sent? Now is not the time to talk about this. Dong Qilian stopped Dong Qishuang. Sima Yue stood in front of them and blocked their escape route. Although she didn't know why the underworld wolf stopped and didn't know how she survived, if she used it well, she could let Sima Yue stop the underworld wolf's pace and take the opportunity to get rid of her. Awoo! The underworld wolves howled, and those underworld wolves wanted to retreat. Sima Yue saw their intentions and said to them, Hey friends, I am not familiar with them. You don't have to care about me. The retreating steps stopped and the underworld wolves looked at her in confusion. Sima Yue smiled at them and said, You don't have to worry, I am not with them. You can do whatever you want and just ignore me. I won't make a move. Morongxi, what do you mean? Are you trying to bewitch these underworld wolves to kill us? Dong Qishuang shouted. Yes. Sima Yue nodded seriously. So you saw through it. It seems that I was too obvious. You. What, only you can send people to kill me but I can't hit you when you are down? Sima Yue snorted. Besides, I didn't do anything. The underworld wolves wanting to kill you has nothing to do with me. I am just eliminating my factor. What's the difference? The difference is huge. Sima Yue curled her lips. If the underworld wolves leave like this, then wouldn't it be me who saved you? Hey, it makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it. The underworld wolves originally wanted to kill them. If they retreated because of her, then wasn't it because of her? Friends, you can continue. After she finished speaking, she took a few steps back with little Z in her arms. The underworld wolves looked at Sima Yue, and were confused for a while before they rushed over again, and surrounded the Dongqi. Morongxi, you actually dared to connive with the nether beast to kill us. Morongxi, Sima Yue's back to the underworld wolves and Morongxi to prevent them from sneak attacks. They didn't understand why the underworld wolf would suddenly listen to Sima Yue. What Yue in Yue? It wasn't me who planned for the underworld wolves to chase after you, nor was it me who led them to your place. There is no rule in this world that says we have to help when we see injustice. Sima Yue said. Moreover, you sent people to kill me, and you still want me to help you. Are you too stupid and naive, or am I stupid? Chi. The underworld wolves were sure that she would not help these people, so they relaxed and attacked. The people Dong Qilian brought were not weak, but there were many underworld wolves and their strength was not low, so they were not their opponents at all. Soon, the Dong family's people were all killed. Even Dong Qilian wanted to use her trump card to escape, but she did not have time. Sima Yue watched from the side. Seeing their speed, she could not help but twitch the corner of her mouth. It had only been a few minutes, and there were not many intact corpses. How much hatred did they have? The Wolf King walked over and looked at Sima Yue, expressing his gratitude to her. Thank you. If she wanted to take action, they would not be able to take revenge. What did they do to you? Sima Yue asked curiously. They stole several of our cubs, and killed them all on the way to escape, because they were in the way. The Wolf King said. Sima Yue wondered if they were stupid. The spirit beasts cared about their babies the most. If they were captured, then so be it, but they killed them on the way. It would be strange if they did not fight to the death with you. Well, she also killed their clansmen, but she had absolute strength. Little Z, they automatically ignored this matter. Then the underworld wolves left and returned to the depths of Moon Creek Valley. Xiao Meng came back after circling around and said, Someone was nearby just now. Even you and I didn't notice? Sima Yue was a little surprised. The other party is very good at hiding his aura. Xiao Meng said. That person may have seen the underworld wolves killing these people. If it gets out, it may cause us trouble. Then there's nothing we can do. Sima Yue did not take this to heart. Even if the Dong family knew, she did not directly make a move. Could they still kill her? Even if they really wanted to be so shameless, she was not afraid of them. They ignored the corpses on the ground and continued to go deeper. On the way, they encountered some underworld beasts, but they were all beaten away by Xiao Meng. Soon, their group was included in the list of those who could not be offended. Woof woof woof. Xiao He suddenly barked and ran forward, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Xiao He. Sima Yue and Xiao Meng chased after it and followed it to the bottom of a cliff. There was a cold pool at the bottom of the cliff, and there was a beauty who had just come out of the cold pool. They still knew this beauty. Ugh! Everything came unexpectedly. Sima Yue quickly closed her eyes and turned around with Xiao Meng. Well, I didn't know you were bathing here. I didn't mean to offend you. She apologized. Hua! Another sound of water came, and Yuan Yan's surprised voice came. Morongxi? Why are you here? Sima Yue was embarrassed. 2 men in the cold pool. Forgive her for thinking wrongly. Emoji looked at Sima Yue's back, the corners of his mouth raised, and said, We didn't take off our clothes. What are you shy about? What? Sima Yue turned her head and saw that both of them were wearing clothes. It was just that Emoji's clothes were too loose, and when he came out of the water his shoulders were exposed, making her think that he was bathing here. It turned out that she was mistaken. Thinking about the thoughts in her mind just now, she was a little embarrassed. Ahem, what are you doing in the cold pool? We are looking for something, and it happens to be at the bottom of the pool. Yuan Yan explained. Woof woof woof. Xiao He barked at him twice. Yuan Yan didn't know what it meant, but Sima Yue knew. She walked over and hugged its neck saying, That's someone else's treasure, you can't have any ideas about it. I'll find something else for you, okay? Yuan Yan looked at its eyes staring at him, and felt as if he was being stared at by the god of death, and his whole body turned cold. Chapter 1805. Just when Yuan Yan felt that he was about to be completely shrouded in darkness, that feeling suddenly disappeared. When he came back to his senses, he saw Sima Yue stretching out her hands to cover Xiao He's eyes. Xiao He, if you're not obedient, I don't want you. She threatened softly, and the aura on Xiao He's body suddenly loosened, and he returned to the silly and cute little black dog. The momentum just now seemed to have never existed. Yuan Yan touched his forehead, and the cold sweat mixed with the water of the cold pool, making him shudder unconsciously. Emoji looked at Xiao He with undisguised inquiry in his eyes. Sima Yue ignored the doubts and shock of the two, and smiled. You got a treasure at the bottom of the pool, right? My little dog nose is more sensitive, so I ran over. Ahem, don't worry, he won't rob you. Yuan Yan nodded blankly. This thing is what my family needs, and it's also the purpose of my coming to Vast City, so I can't give it up. It doesn't matter. Whoever finds it belongs to whoever finds it. Sima Yue felt that this Yuan Yan seemed to be a little too easy to talk to. She didn't know that he was scared by Xiao He's eyes. The water of the cold pool is cold. Do you want to come out first? Emoji and Yuan Yan came out of the water. The two mobilized their spiritual power, and the water on their bodies was quickly dried. Sima Yue took a piece of dried meat and teased Xiao He. Little Z was sleeping in Little Meng's arms, and the sun shone on them, making them feel warm. Emoji walked over, looked at Xiao He, who was no different from an ordinary dog, and said, Your dog is really special. Special? It's okay, it's just a little mutated in some places. Sima Yue laughed and changed the subject. I'm curious about what treasure you found. If I'm not mistaken, it should be a medicinal herb. It is indeed a medicinal herb. Emoji nodded. He didn't intend to say much about the Yuan family. Sima Yue smiled and continued to tease Xiaohei. Yuan Yin came over and asked, "Why did you come here?" "I heard that there are a lot of medicinal herbs here, so I wanted to try my luck and see if I could find anything rare," Sima Yue explained. "But after looking around, I didn't find any rare medicinal herbs." There aren't many herbs here." Hearing her words, both Emoji and Yuan Yin smiled. "Although there are few people here, it is not suitable for the growth of medicinal materials. In addition, there are many spirit beasts, so there are even fewer survivors." "I see. I was wondering why I didn't see any good herbs." Sima Yue was enlightened. Since that was the case, there was no need for her to stay here any longer. "We've found what we're looking for, so we're ready to go back. Are you with us?" Yuan Yin said. Sima Yue looked at him. Was he inviting her to join him? Seeing her so surprised, Yuan Yin was a little uncomfortable and explained, "It's so dangerous here. It's better for everyone to go back together." "I just think so." Emoji face-bombed. Explaining is tantamount to covering up, you know? He thought that Sima Yue would reject him, but she agreed after a short moment of consideration. Anyway, it was just on the way. Previously, she avoided the two of them because she was afraid of Emoji. In addition, she was also in a bad mood and was not in the mood to deal with him. Now that little dream has woken up, her mood has recovered a lot, and she is not so resistant to them. "Since we're all going back, let's go together. If we encounter any underworld beasts on the road, we can also rub some of your glory," she said with a smile. She has also experienced this Moon Creek Valley, and there were indeed many powerful underworld beasts. These two people dared to run deep without even bringing guards, which showed that they did have some skills. However, what made her even more curious was that Emoji's interest in her came too strangely. It was as if he had known about her for a long time. "Now that it's decided, let's go back." Yuan Yin looked at Sima Yue and said with a smile. They walked out of the valley. On the way, Sima Yue learned a lot about the situation of the Great Yu dynasty from Yuan Yin. She also learned about the status of the Yuan family and the status of vast region in the Great Yu dynasty. Although Murong Hui was appreciated by Wang Ye, this could not change the current situation of vast region's lack of resources. Wang Ye also wanted Murong Hui to go to other places to be a county king, but he was rejected by Murong Hui, and the specific reason was unknown to outsiders. There are more than 100 counties in the Great Yu dynasty, and vast region is ranked at the bottom. This time, Murong Hui also used all his strength to improve the status of vast region. Before I met you, I really didn't know that a person would change so much after losing his memory. If you were the same as before, I really wouldn't dare to contact you," Yuan Yin said. "I'm an exception." Sima Yue glanced at Emoji and said, "But I think after you changed your temperament, it's not bad to get along with. You can enter the Yuan family's industry in the future," Yuan Yin said with a slightly red face. "Okay, I'll go to your tea house for tea some other day," Sima Yue responded. "Good. Then I'll invite you to the tea house for tea some other day," Yuan Yin said with a smile. "The tea in our tea house has even been praised by Emoji's old ancestor." Emoji's old ancestor? Yes, it's that mysterious Lord Mou. Ahem. Emoji's old ancestor is Mou. Lord? Sima Yue looked at Emoji with a horrified expression. However, her horror was not the kind of horror that Yuan Yin understood from being frightened by Emoji's identity, but because of his relationship with Mou. "Yes, Lord Mou is my old ancestor." Emoji smiled at Sima Yue, and only she could understand the deep meaning of the smile. "Since you are the descendant of Lord Mou, where is your old ancestor?" Sima Yue asked. "That guy wouldn't still be around here, right? My old ancestor's whereabouts are erratic. I am just a little junior, so naturally I don't know where he is," Emoji said. Sima Yue breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that this guy is not here. Then she understood something, and stared at Emoji, asking him with her eyes. You're not sent by him, are you? Emoji raised his eyebrows. You guessed right. Sima Yue facepalmed. This guy is really speechless. She asked him not to send anyone to follow her, so he let his younger generation approach her. Even if he was discovered by others in the future, if they investigated like this, they would only find out that he knew her because he was invited to vast region by Yuan Yen, and it would not arouse the suspicion of others. Shir, why are you looking at him like this? Yuan Yen was not happy that Sima Yue's attention was on Emoji, and he said aloud, Ahem, I just came into contact with Lord Mo's younger generation for the first time, and I think it's strange. Sima Yue smiled. She glared at Emoji before withdrawing her gaze, and the threat in her eyes was strong. Since he knew her identity from the beginning, he still pretended to tease her, and made her worry for a while. She would settle this account with him later. Chapter 1806. Awu. Roar. All of a sudden, the roars of various underworld beasts could be heard from the mountains. Sima Yue and the rest stopped joking around and looked in that direction cautiously. Soon, deafening footsteps approached them. Obviously, those nether beasts were coming for them. And judging from the sound, there were quite a few underworld beasts. Why did these underworld beasts suddenly riot? Yuan Yen heard the movement and clenched his fist. Sima Yue leaned over to Emoji and Yuan Yen and sniffed. Then her face sank and she said, We were set up. What's wrong? Yuan Yen raised his arm and sniffed, and there was nothing strange about it. There's a very faint floral scent on your bodies. You're not sensitive to smells, so you can't smell it. Sima Yue said. This is a refined dragon-luring flower. If you sprinkle a little on your body, it will cause the underworld beasts to riot. Dragon-luring flower? Hearing this name, the faces of Emoji and Yuan Yen also changed. They sniffed carefully again, and sure enough, they smelled a faint floral fragrance on them. Because they were in a forest, the air was filled with the fragrance of various flowers. If one didn't pay special attention to it, they wouldn't notice it at all. They had also heard of the dragon-luring flower before. This kind of flower fragrance would cause the spirit beasts in the vicinity to lose their minds. They would attack anyone they saw. Even if it was a sacred beast, if one's will was not firm, it would be easy for them to be confused. We haven't been in contact with anyone since we arrived at Moon Creek Valley. How did we get this? Yuan Yen was puzzled. You were safe and sound before. I think that this flower fragrance should have been scattered on the surface of the water when you dived into the cold pond. When you come out of the water, you will naturally get it. Sima Yue guessed. Yuan Yen, do you have any enemies? Yuan Yen wanted to say no, but thinking of his own family, he sighed and said, There are indeed many people in the family who want me to die. That makes sense. Sima Yue remembered that when the underworld Wolf killed the Dong sisters, the person who didn't find any traces, maybe that person came to kill Yuan Yen and happened to see them. With so many nether beasts, it will be difficult for us to deal with them. Emoji said. Listening to this movement, I'm afraid there are hundreds of powerful nether beasts. Did you bring any hidden guards? Sima Yue asked. No. Yuan Yen shook his head. We can't bring hidden guards when we come out for experience. If he wanted to do something, he could only rely on his own abilities. Of course, being able to get help from friends was also one of his abilities. The guards that came with me also stayed in Vast City because they came in a hurry. Sima Yue's lips twitched. Were these rules specially prepared for assassins? A dignified young master like you actually didn't bring a few powerful hidden guards with you when you went out. Wouldn't killing you be as easy as flipping one's hand? Yuan Yen understood Sima Yue's gaze and explained. Only those who can grow up in such an environment can be useful to the family. No matter what, it's best to survive. All right. Your family. I can't judge, but what are we going to do now? Sima Yue said. Can the two of you defeat so many nether beasts? Both of them shook their heads. It was okay to deal with a few or a dozen, but they didn't have the ability to fight against half of the Moon Creek Valley. They were conceded that they had some skills, But they didn't expect that there would be a situation where half of the Moon Creek Valley's nether beasts would unite. Sima Yue held her forehead. I originally thought that I could take advantage of you by going with you. But I didn't expect it to be a big trouble. You haven't touched the water of the cold pool, and you don't have the dragon luring flower on you. So you should separate from us, so that the nether beasts won't chase you. Yuan Yen said. Sima Yue looked at him and sighed. It's useful for you to say this earlier. Now that those nether beasts have locked onto me, it doesn't matter whether I have the dragon luring flower or not. I didn't expect that we would drag you down in the end. Yuan Yin looked at her apologetically. He originally invited her to leave the Moon Creek Valley with the intention of protecting her, but he didn't expect that she would bring such a big trouble. It's too late to say this now, Sima Yue said. Do you two have any ideas? Fight to the death. Emoji saw Sima Yue's disapproving gaze and said with a smile, That's impossible. What can you do? Sima Yue asked. Of course, of the 36 stratagems, leaving is the best. Emoji took out a temporary array and activated it. Let's see if their speed is faster or our array is faster. Sima Yue looked at the array. If the three of them go in, they can leave for 1,000 kilometers at a time. If they come a few more times, they can also temporarily get rid of those nether beasts. She took back Little Dream and the others to reduce the load of the teleportation array. Emoji and Yuan Yin discovered that Little Dream was also one of her contracted beasts. How much strength did she have? She could contract so many nether beasts. The two were curious, but now was not the time to study this. The three stepped into the teleportation array and disappeared in front of the nether beasts before they came. Woo-woo, the nether beasts who had lost their minds were stunned for a while. They couldn't think now, but they were puzzled by the situation in front of them. A nether beast let out a long roar and continued to chase in the direction of the exit with the other nether beasts. That direction was the direction where Sima Yue and the others left. As soon as the three of them came out of the teleportation array, they heard a roar coming from behind. This dragon luring flower is really powerful. Even if we are in the teleportation array, we can't stop the fragrance of the flower from spreading in the air. Yuan Yen sighed. The reason why the dragon luring flower is called the dragon luring flower is that even the dragon race can't resist its smell. This is also a refined flower fragrance. Using it here is a waste of talent. Sima Yue said. Let's go. Emoji opened another temporary teleportation array, and the three of them went in and soon disappeared. When the nether beasts chased after them, the aura of the remaining three people disappeared. Awu, the leading one, sniffed in the air, found the right direction, and chased after them with the nether beasts. In this way, the three of them fled, and the nether beasts chased after them. Later, more and more nether beasts joined in the chase. The vibration in the inner circle of Moon Creek Valley shocked those who were guarding outside, and they all guessed if something had happened in the inner circle. At first, Emoji and the others planned to escape outside, but after finding that they couldn't get rid of the nether beasts, they had no choice but to run in other directions. If these nether beasts were lured out, they were afraid that those people outside would die. When they came out of the teleportation array again, the three of them saw a familiar place, and they couldn't help but twitch the corners of their mouths. Wasn't this the cold pond where they fell into the dragon luring flower? They didn't expect to come back to this place after going around in circles. There's something. Emoji opened his mouth, and when he heard his tone, Yuan Yen had a bad premonition in his heart. Chapter 1807. Emoji sighed and said, I don't have a temporary teleportation array anymore. Without the temporary teleportation array, they could no longer use this method to escape. Strange, why are those nether beasts attacking us and not coming here? Yuan Yen looked at the cold pool and thought that when they were at the bottom of the pool, someone actually sprinkled dragon luring flowers on it, and he was furious. The dragon luring flower is useless in water. Only when it's on a person's body and mixed with the person's body temperature can its fragrance be stimulated. Sima Yue explained. Suddenly she paused. She looked at the cold pond and smiled. I have an idea. By the time the underworld beasts chased after them, the figures of the three people were no longer at the edge of the cold pond, and the water surface was still rippling. Sima Yue and the other two came to the bottom of the pool, and Moji's spiritual power circle wrapped around her to prevent her from being frostbitten by the cold air of the cold pool. The two of them were immersed in the water. Are we going to stay under the water? Yuan Yin asked. It was fine for a short period of time, but as time passed, they would also suffer. The water can block out the fragrance of the dragon-luring flower. They will no longer be confused by the fragrance. They will wake up after a while and leave this place, Sima Yue said. And after that, if we go out again, we'll smell the flowers again. If we go out again, won't we provoke those nether beasts again? Sima Yue tilted her head and thought for a while. She then pointed at the bottom of the cliff. Get out of here? Sima Yue nodded. The surface of the cold pond looked very small, but the bottom of the pond was very wide. There seemed to be a cave in one place. Perhaps there really was a path that led to another place. Then let's give it a try. Emoji took Sima Yue and swam over there. Yuan Yin followed closely behind. They swam all the way forward and swam for almost a few hundred meters. The space in front of them was getting smaller and smaller. They couldn't tolerate two people walking side by side. Emoji had to walk in front by himself. Let Sima Yue walk in the middle, and Yuan Yin walk behind. After walking for a few hundred meters, the path ahead gradually widened, and the three of them could finally walk side by side. It's wide here again. Let's go up and take a look. Yuan Yin pointed to the top of his head. It was dark up there, and he didn't know what was going on up there. Emoji took Sima Yue upstream. After swimming for nearly 100 meters, they finally approached the surface of the water. Hua! 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 The three of them got out of the water, and Emoji and Yuan Yin subconsciously reached out to wipe the water on their faces. Suddenly, they felt a hot air blowing on their faces. When they opened their eyes, they saw a huge face in front of them. That hot air was just the other party's breath. Sima Yue was in the middle and her body was already stiff. She blinked and didn't dare to move. She looked at him and said, "Well, we accidentally barged in. Please don't be angry." Who? Her hot breath hit his face. She made his nerves tense. Emoji and Yuan Yin were also stunned. The face was a little further away, and they all saw its gaze clearly. Black dragon. Yuan Yin wanted to cry but had no tears. How could they be so lucky to encounter a rare black dragon? This was a huge cave. The black dragon's body was still on the shore. After seeing Sima Yue, it stuck its head out of the water and looked at her closely. Now that it had left them, they recognized its identity. Who? The black dragon's head hung down again and came to Sima Yue. It stuck out its tongue and licked her face, and then rubbed it on her face. Sima Yue's body was even stiffer. Who could tell her what was going on? Was she being molested by a dragon? You're finally here. The black dragon wrapped around her body a few times and rolled her up into the air. Sima Yue was so scared that she quickly hugged its body. That Shenlong, you put me down, I'm dizzy. Sima Yue asked when she saw that it didn't mean to hurt her. This guy didn't seem to be hurt now, but if he let her go later, she didn't know if she would die or be disabled. The black dragon didn't seem to hear her words. Suddenly, a pair of wings opened on its back, and after putting her on its back, it flew up in the cave. As it flew, it shouted, and the sound penetrated the mountain and spread all the way to the outside. All the beasts in Moon Creek Valley were stunned, and then they all crawled in this direction. The king woke up, and all the beasts worshipped him. Sima Yue didn't know anything about the situation outside. She only knew that this guy seemed to be very happy, and his voice sounded cheerful. It seemed that he had no intention of throwing her down. Listening to it, she also laughed, reached out and hugged the black dragon's body, and pressed her body against its back. Yuan Yin and Emoji looked up at the one person and one beast in the air. Yuan Yin pinched his shoulder and murmured, "It doesn't hurt, I really have hallucinations." Emoji was a little calmer than him. He patted off the hand pinching his arm and said, "You pinched me, of course it doesn't hurt." Yuan Yin realized that he was not pinching himself at all. It seems that the black dragon doesn't intend to hurt her. Let's go ashore first. If we continue to freeze, our bodies won't be able to stand it. Emoji said as he walked towards the shore. After going ashore, he dried the water vapor on his body. Yuanyan also followed, and after the two of them fiddled with themselves, the black dragon landed with Sima Yue. The black dragon let Sima Yue go down, and with a shake of his body, he turned into a little black dragon more than 1 meter long, rubbing against Sima Yue's body. Sheer, what's going on? Sima Yue stroked the little black dragon's head and said, I don't know either. It's also the first time I've seen it. It seems to have mistaken me for someone else. You, don't you remember me? The little black dragon said aggrievedly, I have been passing down from generation to generation, just waiting for you to come back. Black dragon, are you sure you're not mistaken? I'm not the person you're waiting for, am I? It's my first time here. Sima Yue said. How is that possible? I can't be mistaken. The black dragon was so excited that it bit Sima Yue's arm. Sima Yue only felt a force drilling into her body, and then a picture appeared in her mind. In the picture, there was a woman and a little black dragon. Everything was so clear. Later, the woman left, and the little black dragon waited for her here, but it didn't see her until it died. Before it died, it sealed its memory into the body of the next generation, becoming an inheritance. From generation to generation, until now this little guy was waiting for her. And that woman was the woman who had entangled with the Azure Waves Emperor. The black lotus on her back and the black lotus on her hand were also connected to her. She didn't expect to meet a black dragon who had been waiting for her here. Why are you? Seeing Sima Yue's face was a little ugly, Yuanyan wanted to come over and support her, but was blocked by a black light. Contracted. Chapter 1808. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Reads book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, read for free. Emoji and Yuanyan looked at Sima Yue and the black dragon shrouded in black light, and couldn't react. The development of this matter was too inexplicable. Why did she encounter a black dragon, and the other party directly contracted with her? Were all the underworld beasts so easy to contract now? Why didn't they encounter such a good thing? After a while, the light of the contract slowly dissipated, and then she was shrouded in the light of promotion. Middle stage underworld demon master, late stage underworld demon master, early stage underworld demon master, middle stage underworld demon master, late stage underworld demon master. She directly crossed a big level. What kind of system did she have, that a contract could actually make her advance? The two of them didn't know whether this was the result of her efforts to suppress it. If she continued to advance, her soul body would not be able to bear it. She transferred her power to the soul pagoda, and the soul pagoda bore this part of the power. The dried-up soul pagoda began to change greatly. The dying plants were restored to vitality, the sky was completely changed to the previous azure blue, and the areas shrouded in fog were restored to their usual appearance. Only the sleeping beasts were still not awake. You. The crisp child's voice was filled with nostalgia, making Sima Yue's heart tremble. Little spirit, you woke up. Yeah, I woke up. The spiritual power you transferred helped me recover a lot. Little spirit said, Are you okay? I'm fine. I'll find a chance to see you. Sima Yue suppressed her excitement, and couldn't wait to go in and see him immediately. Well, I'll wait for you. The soul pagoda is in a mess, I have to tidy it up. After Little Spirit finished speaking, he went to work on the soul pagoda. Yuanyan and Emoji saw the smile on her face. It didn't seem to be because of the contract with a black dragon, but it seemed to have a kind of relief, a kind of bond. Sheer, how do you feel? Why are you smiling so strangely? Sima Yue did not restrain the smile on her face, but she was in a good mood now. I'm fine. I'm so happy to be able to contract a little black dragon. She stroked the little black dragon's head and happily said. The little black dragon intimately rubbed against her hand, just like its ancestors had done. I didn't expect that when I finally saw a black dragon, it actually contracted with you. This is really fantastic. Yuanyan stared straight at the little black dragon, and the envy and jealousy in his eyes were undisguised. Hee, this is called fate. Sima Yue looked at him proudly. This eggshell is still very new. Was it just born? Emoji saw the eggshell in the corner. There was still some mucus inside. It looked very fresh. The little black dragon jumped over, rolled up the 2 eggshells, and dragged them in front of Sima Yue. Yu, this is for you. It looked at Sima Yue eagerly. This is very useful. Sima Yue looked at the eggshell that was still taller than her even if it was split into 2. You want to give it to me? Yeah. The little black dragon nodded. You put it away. The black dragon's eggshell is extremely hard. If you put it away, it will be of great use in the future. Emoji said. Thank you, little black dragon. Sima Yue put away the eggshell. As long as Yu likes it. The little black dragon happily turned around twice, rolling Sima Yue in the middle. Why does the little black dragon call you Yu? Yuanyan looked at her doubtfully. Sima Yue's body stiffened, and she explained with a smile. It treats me as the person in its inheritance. It's probably because you look like that person, so it will contract with you. Emoji said. Anyway, it's better than it being our enemy. That's right. Little black dragon, we're going out. Can we get outside from here? Sima Yue asked. Heiyan, you forgot my name. Heiyan said unhappily. Well, Heiyan, do you know there's a way out here? Sima Yue asked. I've never left here, so I don't know how to get outside. Heiyan said apologetically. It doesn't matter. Sima Yue touched its head. Although it has many inheritances, it has no memory of leaving here. Since this is a cave, there should be a way out. Let's try going out of the cave. Emoji said. You don't be afraid, I can protect you. The little black dragon said. Well, I'll wait for you to protect me. Sima Yue responded, but she didn't take this to heart. Its strength is not like that of a newborn beast. Emoji said. His parents should have injected their power into him who is still in the eggshell. That's why I can advance so much. Sima Yue shook her hand. She still couldn't control the power in her body very well. Suddenly getting so much power, you will feel uncontrollable. Yuan Yan said. When you get used to it, you will know the beauty of mastering power. Yeah. Let's go out. Sima Yue let Heiyan turn into a smaller mimicry. Heiyan turned into a small black snake and wrapped it around Sima Yue's wrist. Sima Yue looked at his satisfied appearance. She didn't know if the two would have a dispute over the place after the little golden snake woke up. They set off from the entrance of the cave, and soon left the cave and came outside. When they went out, they were shocked by the situation outside. Thousands of underworld beasts were gathered outside, all crawling on the ground. Seeing them, the beasts were a little confused. They clearly felt the strong aura of the underworld beasts. How could it be 3 ghost clan members who came out? Where is the king of my clan? The leader of the underworld beasts was a tiger, which was also a sacred beast. What are you all doing around here? Hurry up and disperse. The little black dragon raised his head from Sima Yue's wrist and reprimanded with dissatisfaction. My lord, we are here to worship. Before Minghu could finish his words, he was sent flying by Heiyan's tail. He got up from the ground and left with the beasts dejectedly. Heiyan waved his tail at Sima Yue, looking like a guy who deserved praise. Sima Yue touched his tail and praised. Heiyan is so powerful, use him to protect me in the future. Yeah. Heiyan happily returned to her hand. Murong Hui's anxious voice came from afar. Sima Yue looked over and saw Murong Hui running over with a group of guards. Father, why are you here? Wasn't he dealing with the matter of the mineral vein? Murong Hui flew over and saw that she was intact. He was relieved and said, I saw that something seemed to have happened in the inner region. I was worried that you would encounter those rioting underworld beasts, so I came to find you. Sima Yue felt a warm current in her heart. She went up and took Murong Hui's arm and said, The riot was caused by these 2 guys, but it has been resolved now. That's good. Murong Hui was relieved and felt that there was a change in the space ring. He took out the Sun Mother stone, and the voice of the housekeeper immediately came from inside. Master, come back quickly. Something happened to the mineral vein. Chapter 1809. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Something happened to the mineral vein. Morong Lin's words made Morong Hui and Sima Yue nervous. This mineral vein was found by them with great difficulty, and they can't let others get away with it. Let's rush over now. Morong Hui cut off the connection and called out his flying beast to go over. Dad, the mineral vein is too far away from here. We may not be able to get there in time. Sima Yue stopped him and said, Do you have any other way? Morong Hui asked. Yes, emoji, help me. Sima Yue said. Emoji raised his eyebrows. This guy is very handy when using me. However, he still helped her arrange a teleportation array. This kind of teleportation array was not difficult for him. With the help of Sima Yue, the teleportation array was arranged in half an hour. Everyone entered the teleportation array and soon disappeared from their original place. When they came out of the teleportation array, they saw the guards of the Duke Mansion fighting with a group of black-clothed people. You stay here, the others come with me. Invaders will be killed without mercy. A-class equals __CF email _ref equals /CDNCGI/L/email protection. Email protected, replied and led the guards to join the battle. Sima Yue wanted to help, but was stopped by Yuan Yan. Your father is very powerful. Don't get involved. Stay here obediently. We are here to protect you. Sima Yue wanted to say that she had a contract beast, but seeing that emoji was also looking at her disapprovingly, and the battle situation over there was also reversed because of the addition of Morong Hui and the others, she did not insist. These people don't look like people from vast region. Emoji observed those people for a while and said, If I guess right, these people may be the 7th prince's people. Sima Yue said, Do you know this 7th prince? 7th prince? Why do you guess it's him? He has never interfered in these things. Yuan Yan didn't believe it. Are you close to him? Sima Yue turned to look at him. Not really, but the 7th prince has a good reputation in the Great Yu dynasty. It is said that the 7th prince is gentle and refined, treats people gently, and rarely participates in these political affairs. Yuan Yan said, I have also seen him several times, and it is indeed like the rumors. Sima Yue turned her head and continued to watch the battle between Morong Hui and the man in black. She said, Have you forgotten what the master of the Xiao family said in the array? If the 7th prince is really as good as you say, these things wouldn't have happened. Okay. Yuan Yan also remembered that matter, so it seemed that this might indeed be his doing. It seems that the rumors are true. Wang Ye's body is injured and he has not recovered from his serious injuries. All the princes are ready to make a move. Emoji murmured. Dad didn't want to get involved in this, but he was dragged into it. Sima Yue sighed. Although vast region is not very powerful, if you get your father's support, it is equivalent to getting your mother's support. Wang Ye will more or less consider this when passing on the throne. Yuan Yan said, Once your father is unwilling to stand in line, those princes will naturally want to do something to your father in order not to let others get it. My mother. Alas, I don't know if Dad regrets marrying a person with such a high status now. If possible, I think he would prefer my mother to be an ordinary person. Sima Yue said. Your mother's identity really makes people think. After all, your uncle's support is too influential. Emoji said. Is my uncle also a Wang Ye? Sima Yue asked. Yes, but your uncle's dynasty is much more powerful than the Great Yu dynasty. You will slowly come into contact with these in the future. Emoji said. Sima Yue nodded, and only the two of them understood the meaning. The battle lasted for more than an hour. Although it was difficult, all the black-clothed men were killed. Dad, how are you? Sima Yue flew over and saw Morong Hui covered in blood, worried about his injury. I'm fine, it's just some skin wounds. Morong Hui touched his right arm, and black blood flowed out from his fingers. Dad, you're bleeding, let's bandage the wound first. Sima Yue took out white gauze, bandaged his arm briefly, and then gave him a medicinal pill. The other injured guards were also bandaged. Although their losses were more serious, they also kept the mineral vein. Sima Yue saw that Murong Lin was also injured, and after bandaging Murong Hui, she went to bandage him. Uncle Lin, how are you? I'm fine. Thank you, Mississippi. Uncle Lin, how is Xiao family? Sima Yue asked. When she and Murong Hui came to Moon Creek Valley, Murong Lin stayed in the city to meet them. After confirming that it was Xiao family, he took people to destroy Xiao family. Then he rushed here with people to support Murong Hui. It was because of his arrival that Murong Hui took time out to find her in the inner region. Murong Lin knew that she had a good relationship with Xiao Ruabai and said, Xiao family is gone. Is that so? Sima Yue had already guessed the result. What about Ruabai? Do you have her whereabouts? We sent people to check after receiving the news. She should have been taken to King City. Murong Lin said. King City is heavily guarded. I'm afraid it will be more difficult to find out her specific whereabouts. Just know that she's still alive. There's no need to check anymore. Sima Yue pursed her lips and asked them not to continue. Murong Hui went to count the number of people, arranged the guards to keep watch, and let others rest. After doing all this, he came to Sima Yue and said, It will take a while for things here to be over. I'll let you send you back. No need, father, I'll go back with them. Sima Yue knew that there were a lot of things here. She didn't have so much time to waste here. Returning to the Duke Mansion would be better for her cultivation. Murong Hui was a little worried, but seeing her insistence, he no longer said anything and let her go back with Emoji and the others. Sima Yue returned to Vast City and couldn't wait to return to the Duke Mansion. When she heard Yuan Yan behind her say that he would come to find her later, she didn't turn around to answer. Back at the Duke Mansion, Ting Shan and Ting Shui were very happy to hear the news of her return. After all, they heard that the journey to Moon Creek Valley was not peaceful. After Sima Yue asked the two of them some questions, she went back to her room alone, and no one was allowed to disturb her. After setting up a barrier, she entered the spirit pagoda. Yu. Little Spirit felt it the moment she came in, and with a thought, he appeared in her arms. Sima Yue hugged him and kissed him on the cheek. Little Spirit, you finally woke up. I missed you so much. I missed you too. Little Spirit rarely showed his emotions, and hugged Sima Yue's neck and refused to let go. Sima Yue looked at the restored order of the spirit pagoda, and sighed that he was still needed here. Little Spirit loosened her a little after a while and said, By the way, your father and the others have also woken up. Do you want to see them? Chapter 1810. 1 second to remember. Love divided by you. Read book Webno pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue's eyes lit up. Father and the rest are awake. Yes. They woke up with me. Now everyone is awake except for Little Seven and the rest. Little Spirit said. Then let's go and see Father. Sima Yue carried Little Spirit to the living area, which had been restored to its original state. You, young miss. Sima Luxian and Enlei saw her and ran over excitedly. Father Enlei. Sima Yue hugged Sima Luxian. You're finally awake. How are you? What's going on? Sima Luxian hugged Sima Yue and felt that she was a little different. What's wrong with your body? Father, don't worry, I'm fine now. Sima Yue let go of him and held his arm instead. How can you be fine? The spirit pagoda almost collapsed and your contracted beasts are all asleep. Do you think your words are convincing? Sima Luxian glared at her. Don't try to fool me. Tell me honestly, did something happen to you in the Sage Pavilion? Are we still in the Sage Pavilion? We're not in the Sage Pavilion now. Sima Yue glanced at him carefully. Well, we're in the Ghost Realm now. What? We're in the Ghost Realm now. Sima Luxian and Enlei were shocked by this news. Why are we in the Ghost Realm? Did you use the method that Mou taught you? Didn't you say that you need to increase your strength before you can do it? Sima Luxian asked. Seeing Sima Yue pursed her lips and didn't say anything, he frowned. What's going on? Well, actually it's nothing. It's just that during the battle in the Sage Pavilion, I couldn't control the power in my body and exploded, and died. Father, don't worry, I'm fine. Sima Yue saw Sima Lucian's face turn pale and quickly comforted him. You're already dead and you call this fine? Sima Lucian touched her cheek. It's all Father's fault, I didn't protect you well. Father, I'm actually not dead. Sima Yue said. My body seems to have been saved by someone, but my soul can't return, so it can only be considered an out-of-body experience. When my ghost cultivation reaches a certain level, I will be able to fuse with my body. No wonder all your contracted beasts fell into a deep slumber. And Lei sighed. One had to know that in her situation, it was already a miracle that her contracted beast was still alive. What happened that day? Don't hide it from me. Tell me everything. Sima Lucian looked at her, not allowing her to escape or lie. Sima Yue had no choice but to tell her everything that had happened that day. After Sima Lucian finished listening, he was silent for a long time before he sighed faintly. The prophecy said that you would be the one to destroy the Sage Pavilion, so they killed all female spirit masters everywhere, causing you to disguise as a man for so many years. I didn't expect that after going around in circles, they would still be destroyed by you. It's just that the price to pay is too heavy for you. Actually, it's not that bad. Sima Yue smiled. Haven't we always wanted to enter the ghost realm? This isn't the most above-board way to do it. And it's nothing for me. I just need to cultivate again. Cultivate again, it's just a few words. But it's easier said than done. Sima Lucian looked at his daughter with heartache. Why did she have to suffer so much? Ghost cultivation seems to have to cultivate the soul, body, and spirit power. And Lei looked at Sima Yue sympathetically. How hard must it be? Actually, I just need to cultivate the soul body. Sima Yue said. I was saved by my ancestor before I came to the ghost realm. He sealed his power into my body. As long as I cultivate the soul body, the sealed power will naturally be unlocked. And I'm very familiar with the cultivation method of cultivating the soul body. It's a method that Ling Yu gave me to cultivate the soul. That's good. So, Father, you don't have to worry about me. Sima Yue smiled, took down the black rock and said, Look at the spirit beast that I contracted in the ghost realm. It's a black dragon. This is the dragon clan second only to the green dragon. How is it? Isn't it powerful? Not bad. There's also Little Purple. Sima Yue called Little Purple over. Look at Little Purple. It's the top-grade purple lightning in my body. Now it's also transformed. So I'm still doing well in the ghost realm. Sima Lucian smiled and nodded. He knew that she did this to let him not be so worried, so he pretended not to be worried. By the way, Father, there are ghost clansmen outside now. You'll be noticed if you go out. So you'll have to stay in the spirit pagoda for the rest of the time. It's okay. You're so good here, you can cultivate well outside. Sima Lucian said. But if you encounter any danger, you must let us out. It can't be like the last time. I will. Really, Father, you have to believe me. Seeing Sima Lucian's distrustful gaze, she almost raised her hand to swear. Your credibility is not good. Sima Lucian glanced at her. He still didn't believe her. Sima Yue pulled his arm and shook it, and said coquettishly, Father, don't be like this. I promise that I'll call you if I'm in danger next time. I won't put myself in that situation again. I'll believe you once more. Sima Lucian poked her forehead with a doting look. Father, let's find a place to sit and talk. I have a lot to say to you. I'll make tea. After Enlei finished speaking, she turned and went to Sima Yue's tea room. The forgotten little spirit saw that her excitement had passed. He ran into her arms, picked up Little Purple and threw it out. Yu's arms were his place. Other beasts had to step aside. Little Purple was sleeping comfortably and was suddenly thrown out like this. It was very angry when it woke up. It screamed and then pounced on Little Spirit. Puffed. Little Spirit rolled his eyes, and with a thought, Little Purple was thrown to some corner. He was the most powerful here. So what if Little Purple was famous outside? In the end, he was still flung away by a single thought. After clearing the obstacle, he rubbed against Sima Yue's arms with satisfaction. Sima Yue patted his head and said, Naughty. Now tell me, how long have you been in the ghost realm? What have you experienced? How is your situation? Does Anaheim know that you're here? Sima Lucian asked. I don't know, but I've already met Mo and my cousin, and I've also recognized a godfather. That day when I arrived in the ghost realm, Sima Yue told everything that happened after she arrived in the ghost realm. Hearing her experience, Enlei was stunned and murmured, Miss, they're right, things really happen wherever you go. Sima Lucian was much calmer. He looked at her and asked, What are you going to do next? Chapter 1811. Remember in 1 second. Love divided by you? Read book web. Update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue had already made arrangements for the future. When Sima Lucian asked, she replied, Cultivate, cultivate, cultivate. My strength is too low now, so I must cultivate first. And I haven't fully controlled the power obtained from the contract with Black Cliff, so I have to familiarize myself with it. Cultivation is indeed the most important thing now. If Anaheim or others discover your identity, at least you have the strength to resist, Sima Lucian said. Yes. And Godfather's current situation is not good. Since I used the identity of his daughter, I have to bear the responsibility of his daughter and accompany him through this difficult period. When my strength improves, I can go find my cousin and then save my mother. Sima Lucian's gaze fluctuated for a moment when he heard about saving her mother, but soon returned to calmness. Don't worry about saving your mother. If she is here, you will also put your own safety first. I know, father. Sima Yue smiled, knowing that Sima Lucian was more anxious than her. She chatted with Sima Lucian in the Spirit Pagoda for a long time, and left some books about the ghost realm for Sima Lucian, and Enlei before going out. If she wants to cultivate, she can't stay in the Spirit Pagoda. It can't provide her with cultivation resources. She removed the enchantment, and Ting Shan and Ting Shui outside immediately noticed. Miss, do you have any orders? No. I need to cultivate. You don't have to guard me. Inform me when Father or Uncle Lin comes back. Sima Yue suddenly paused. Forget it, I will go out first. I will start cultivating when I come back. She left Vast City alone and came to the suburbs. She found a place where no one was around, called Little Purple out, and asked, Why didn't I experience the thunder tribulation last time? Little Purple tilted its head to the side and ignored her. This woman was Little Spirit's accomplice, she only knew how to bully it. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. This arrogant guy was hurt, it was really troublesome to coax it. After saying a lot of good words and promising a lot of benefits, Little Purple finally stopped giving her the back of its head. Okay, can you tell me now? Why didn't I experience the thunder tribulation last time? That's all thanks to me. Little Z stared at her. After all, those two people are not familiar with each other. It's not good to let them know your secret. That's why they suppressed you. I've been so good to you. Yet you and Little Spirit bullied me. How could I? Isn't that a way to improve your relationship? Sima Yue coaxed. Since the lightning tribulation has been suppressed by you, does that mean that I don't have to go through the lightning tribulation? In your dreams, the suppression is only temporary. It won't disappear just because it's suppressed. You still have to experience it yourself. Little Purple gloated. Moreover, the longer you suppress it, the stronger the rebound of the lightning tribulation will be. Now that you've suppressed it for more than half a month, I reckon the lightning tribulation has only doubled. CKU. Sima Yue wanted to strangle Little Purple when she saw how proud it was. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I forgot. Little Z licked her claws calmly. And you know, I don't have a grandpa. Sima Yue. She was too lazy to care about this guy. She mobilized the spiritual power in her body, and soon the tribulation clouds gathered above her. Seeing the sky getting darker and darker, a touch of helplessness flashed in her eyes. Every time she advanced, she would be struck by lightning. When would it end? Pa! The lightning fell. Because Little Purple was here, the cloud spirit did not go easy on her. Every lightning bolt hit her solidly. Even if Moronghui was here, he didn't think that he could take a few. As usual, Little Purple absorbed most of it, and she bore a small part of it to forge her body. Even so, when she finished the lightning tribulation, she could only lie on the ground, and she didn't even have the strength to move. A pair of silver-white boots stopped beside her. Then Emoji's evil face came into her sight. "Why are you here?" She lay on the ground and had no intention of getting up. Anyway, he had already seen her like this. Her image had long been thrown to Java. The old ancestor said that if he saw someone being struck by lightning, it must be you, an unlucky and miserable person. I didn't believe it before, but now it seems that you are really unlucky. I guess you are the first ghost to be struck by lightning. Emoji smiled at the corner of his mouth. Seeing Sima Yue going through the tribulation thunder, and now her dark appearance, he felt a little funny. I'm definitely not the first, but I should be the unlucky one. Sima Yue replied. Since you are here, then I won't be polite. Take me out of here. You know how to order me around. Emoji chuckled, not angry at her request. What if I didn't come? If no one comes, there is a plan for no one to come. If someone comes, there is a plan for someone to come. Sima Yue said. If we don't leave now, we will be surrounded by people. Emoji curled his lips, bent down and picked her up, took out the one-time teleportation array, and took her out of the range of the lightning tribulation. The news that the lightning tribulation appeared outside Liao City again spread quickly. If one time was a coincidence, the excuse of 2 times was useless. Everyone was curious about who was going through the tribulation nearby, so they rushed over. But all that was left for them was a messy valley. Because Sima Yue was injured, Emoji did not take her back to the Duke's mansion, but took her to the place where he stayed. He put her on the bed and said, I'll find a maid to apply medicine for you. No need. I'm not used to strangers touching my body. Sima Yue refused. If someone came to do it for her, wouldn't her physique be exposed? Emoji raised his eyebrows as if to say, why did he bring her back? Sima Yue blushed slightly, that was different. But now her whole body was as black as coal, and her blush couldn't be seen. Hee hee, Emoji chuckled. Since you don't want to, then forget it. Take the pill. Sima Yue took his pill and felt the pain in her body lessen a lot. The effect of this pill of yours is really good. How can the Emo clan's pill be bad? Emoji pulled a chair and sat down by the bed. Emo clan? So you are a race? I thought it was a family, Sima Yue said. You don't know? Didn't the old ancestor tell you? No. When we were together, most of the time we discussed tea art, and then he taught me some dark skills. He didn't say much about his identity. The old ancestor actually taught you dark skills? We don't even get this treatment. Emoji said as if he was jealous. He really treats you better than us. He asked you to protect me and you agreed? You don't look like such an obedient person. Emoji's mouth twitched. Did he look like a disobedient person? Actually, the old ancestor promised me a request, so I came to try. Chapter 1812. Remember in a second love divided by you? Reads Book Web. Updated quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue was a little curious. What would Mou promise Emoji that he would be willing to approach her? He said that if I came to protect you, the people in the clan would not be able to interfere in my marriage in the future. Emoji said. Uffed, Sima Yue laughed out loud. Do you still think about such things as marriage? Most people don't. But those who are selected as the successors of the Mo clan have to marry the women arranged by the clan. I didn't like this arrangement since I was a child, so as long as I protect you, I don't have to marry you. Emoji said. And what? The old ancestor said that you are an interesting person, and will not let me down or be bored. If I find that you are not good after coming here, if you don't want to, you can go back in advance. Emoji said. But the old ancestor knows me very well. You are indeed more interesting than I thought. It's interesting because of your teasing. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. At that time, he clearly knew her identity, but he still teased her like that. If it weren't for her strong heart, she would have been scared to death by him. I just want to see how you will react in this situation. If you panic or ask the old ancestor for help, then I will be very disappointed. As a result, you didn't react at all. Emoji said. If she panicked and asked the old ancestor for help at that time, he might not be here now. Sima Yue didn't want to express her opinion on him teasing her for fun, otherwise, she was afraid that she couldn't help but beat him. By the way, you remember to send someone to the Duke's mansion to say something, otherwise Ting Shan and Ting Shui will be worried. She reminded him. You are quite concerned about Murongxi's maids. They are very good to me. Let them know, so that they won't worry. But they are worried about Murongxi, not you. At least, I am the one who is suffering now. Sima Yue said. If they find out that I am not Murongxi in the future, then I will naturally not treat them well. At least it is good now. Emoji stared at her for a long time. No one knew what he was thinking. Then, without saying a word, he turned around and went out. This guy left just like that. I wonder if he'll go. She muttered and closed her eyes to rest. She recuperated here for 2 days and recovered from her injuries. Emoji was astonished at this speed. Thank you so much. Sima Yue thanked him. Although she wouldn't have been discovered if he hadn't come, she still appreciated his help. It's not sincere to say that. Emoji stared at her with a smile. Ah. Sima Yue was startled. Did he want her to thank him? Did he have to be so shameless? The patriarch said that your tea skills are better than his. I wonder if I'll be lucky enough to drink your tea? Sima Yue blinked. That's it. What else do you think? Emoji asked back, the raised corners of his mouth showing his good mood. Ahem, what kind of tea do you want? I prefer green tea. Sima Yue nodded. The two of them went to the pavilion in the courtyard. She took out the tea set and began to boil water to wash the cups. When she was done, the water was also boiling. She began to make tea again. Emoji looked at her smooth movements, elegant and flirtatious. Even just looking at her, he felt that it was a kind of enjoyment. Please. Sima Yue put the teacup in front of him. He picked up the teacup and a fragrance came to his nose. It was very different from the fragrance in the past. He took a sip gently. The fragrance overflowed his lips and teeth, and then spread to his whole body. He seemed to feel comfortable. It's really good tea. No wonder the patriarch likes the tea you make so much. He thought the patriarch was exaggerating before, but he didn't expect it to be so delicious. You are very similar to Mo in many ways. Even the way you taste tea is very similar. Sima Yue said. Are you very liked by him? Emoji raised his eyebrows. Was it that obvious? But the patriarch is often not in the clan, and I rarely go back these years. The number of times I see him is much less. It's not easy to see him, but he wants me to protect a little girl like you. Thinking about it, I still feel a little stifled. He sighed. You obviously came because of that deal. Don't say it as if you are unwilling. Sima Yue exposed him. You saw through me. A guard walked in from outside. Seeing the two of them drinking tea in the pavilion, the young master was smiling more happily than before. He hesitated to come forward. Emoji noticed him and frowned slightly. If there was nothing urgent, he wouldn't come in. What happened? Young master, the Dong family went to the Duke's mansion and wanted to see Miss Shi. Because the Duke and Miss Shi are not here, they are causing trouble. The guard replied. Emoji asked them to pay attention to the matters of the Duke's mansion, so he came when he heard the news. Sima Yue's hand that was holding the teacup paused. Her aura turned cold as she looked at the guard and said, The Dong family is causing trouble in the Duke's mansion? Yes, they injured a lot of the guards of the Duke's mansion. The guard felt that Sima Yue suddenly seemed to have changed into a different person, and looked at her with some doubts. They dare to hit the people of my Duke's mansion. The Dong family is really good. I'll go back first. She put the teacup on the table. When she left, the teacup directly cracked. Emoji looked at her back as she left, then looked at the broken teacup, and shook his head slightly. Such a good tea set, what a pity. What else did you not say? Young master, The reason why the Dong family dared to go to the Duke's mansion to cause trouble is because someone from the Prince of Great Yu's mansion came. The guard replied, "In that case, the Dong family is very confident. This girl, if she went back like this, wouldn't she be at a disadvantage? Why didn't she ask me for help?" He murmured. He later found that Sima Yue was not the kind of person who was used to relying on others. She liked to experience her own things. Even if she knew that it was difficult, she would still go forward. "Young master, Morong Hui and the housekeeper are not in the Duke's mansion. If Miss Shi goes back, she will face those people directly. I don't know if it will be dangerous. Shall we go and take a look?" This guard has been with Emoji since he was a child, and he knew very well the purpose of him coming to protect Sima Yue this time. Seeing Sima Yue running back alone, he was worried that she couldn't handle it alone. "Go, of course, we have to go and see how she is going to deal with these people." Emoji was a little bothered by the fact that he was ignored by Sima Yue in front of her, and he was also worried that she couldn't handle those people. "However, we can't go directly, it will make people suspicious. What has Yuan Yan been doing these 2 days?" Sima Yue called out Xiaohei and rode him back to the Duke's mansion quickly. Before she got close, she heard a loud bang from there. Turning the corner, she saw the Duke's mansion that was missing its gate in the cold wind. Chapter 1813. 1 Second to Remember. Love Divided by You. Read book web no pop-up window, free to read. The smoke and dust had yet to disperse. The guards of the Duke Manor saw that the door had been blasted open and stood at the door angrily, not allowing these people to take a step in. The two sides were in a stalemate. Sima Yue looked at the empty door and mourned for 3 seconds for the door of the Duke Manor. Why was this door always the one that was injured? "I'll count to 3. If you still don't hand over Morong Shi, I won't just blast this door." A short fat man rode on a huge underworld beast and looked down at the guards of the Duke Manor condescendingly. "We've already said that Miss is not in the manor. If you continue to be aggressive, don't blame us for being impolite." Ting Shan stood in front of the guards and looked at the short fat man without fear. "Impolite? I'd like to see how impolite you are." The short fat man looked at Ting Shan. "You dare to challenge the Duke Manor? Do you want to die? This little girl is not bad. If you're willing to follow me, I'll spare your life. How about it?" "Bah, you want me to follow you when you're so short and poor? Why don't you look in the mirror and see what you look like? My miss said that it doesn't matter if you're ugly, but it's not good to scare people." Ting Shan put her hands on her hips and suppressed the short fat man. Puffed. "Ha ha ha." The guards of the Duke Manor laughed. They never knew that Ting Shan, who had always looked quiet, would actually scold people. "You're courting death." The short fat man was annoyed and took out a long spear to stab her. Ting Shan retreated and easily dodged his attack. The short fat man was even angrier when his attack failed. He shouted at the Dong family, "Capture all the people of the Duke Manor. Today, I'll teach these guys who don't know the rules on behalf of the Duke Manor." Sima Yue saw the Dong family surrounding the people of the Duke Manor and wanted to make a move. She walked over and said, "I'll see who dares. Where did this cat and dog come from? How dare you teach the people of the Duke Manor a lesson? Who are you?" It was the first time that the short fatty had seen Sima Yue. He was attracted by her appearance and aura, and his eyes were filled with obscene light. "Who am I? Didn't you come to find me?" Blackie led her into the encirclement of the Dong family and came to the front of the guards of the Duke Manor. Mississippi, Ting Shan was extremely anxious when she saw Sima Yue enter. Didn't she send someone to guard the street? She was afraid that Sima Yue would appear. She did not expect that she would really come back. "You are Morongshi? I didn't expect you to be such a beauty." The short fatty looked at Sima Yue and almost drooled. That undisguised gaze made people feel very uncomfortable. The pile of fat on his face squeezed together, making him look extremely ugly. My Ting Shan is right. If you're ugly, don't come out and scare people. It won't be good if you scare the passers-by and make the baby cry. Sima Yue waved her hand in disgust as if she was disgusted by the person standing in front of her. Morongshi, you still dare to appear? I thought you had already escaped. A woman dressed as a woman stepped forward and pointed at Sima Yue. Today, I will take your life and avenge my 2 daughters. This old granny, who are you? Why are you acting like a lunatic, biting people whenever you come out? Who are your daughters? Do I know them? Sima Yue touched her hair and did not even bother to look at her. Morongshi, stop pretending. My 2 daughters were killed by you. The woman said hatefully. You said that your daughters were killed by me. Do you have evidence? You actually brought people to my Duke Manor to cause trouble. I'm going to settle this account with you. Sima Yue looked over coldly, making the unprepared woman jump in fright. You dare to say that Lian and Shuang Er's deaths have nothing to do with you? You mean Dongqi Lian and Dongqi Shuang? Their deaths have nothing to do with me. Sima Yue spread out her hands innocently. We have already received the news. You were at the side when Lian and Shuang died. You have always been at odds with Shuang and even killed my Dong family's guards in Iridescent Cloud's pavilion. Who are you lying to? The woman accused. Sima Yue guessed that this news should have been spread by the person who left the footprints. However, she did not know what relationship he had with the Dong family for him to come and tell them this news. Dongqi Lian and Dongqi Shuang were killed by the Underworld Yin Wolves. If you want revenge, go find the Underworld Yin Wolves. Coming to my Duke Manor to cause trouble. Are you taking advantage of my father's absence? She snorted coldly. Weren't those Underworld Yin Wolves ordered by you? If it wasn't for you, why would they attack Lian and Shuang? The woman shouted. TSK, old granny, don't think that just because you are old, you can be disrespectful and accuse others. Dongqi Lian and Dongqi Shuang were chased by the Underworld Yin Wolves because they stole their cubs. When they were being chased, not only did they not return the cubs to the Underworld Yin Wolves, but they also killed them. If the Underworld Yin Wolves didn't kill them, who would they kill? Sima Yue sneered. Only you were there at that time. You can say whatever you want. However, I won't believe a single word you say. Now you will be buried with my daughters. After that, she directly condensed her spiritual power and attacked Sima Yue. The guards around Sima Yue all moved. A few of them went to fight against Dongqi Shuang's mother, while the others surrounded Sima Yue. Seeing that the other party moved, the Dong family's guards also moved. The Dong family and the Duke Manor's guards fought against each other. Gradually, the guards around Sima Yue were lured away. Go to hell. The woman's vicious eyes locked onto Sima Yue. She took out a long sword and stabbed towards her. Stop. As soon as Yuan Yan came, he saw such a scene. While shouting, he condensed his spiritual power to knock off the woman's sword. But he was too far away from them, and the other party was too close. Seeing that the long sword was about to pierce Sima Yue's body. Space lock. Emoji's cold voice sounded in his ears. It seemed to be angry. Clang. Yuan Yan's spiritual power knocked off the long sword. Sima Yue wanted to move, but found that she was surrounded by space. She didn't expect Emoji to be so skilled in using space lock. It seemed that his attainments in array formation were quite high. Unfortunately, she didn't have the strength to break free from his blockade. Fortunately, he soon lifted the blockade, and she regained her freedom. Before the others had time to say anything, they suddenly felt a gust of wind whistling past. A black shadow flashed, and then Dongqi Shuang's mother, who wanted to attack again, flew out. Everyone was stunned by this move, and both sides of the battle stopped. Xiao He flicked his tail and looked at the Dong family members who were surrounding Sima Yue just now. With a few slaps of his tail, those people were all sent flying. How dare you hit my sheer courting death? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.